Behind every crime lies a story waiting to be uncovered, from chilling mysteries to untold truth. This is where the darkness comes to light.
Courtroom buzz lights up the air, faces tense as stories tear, truth and lies like a tango dance. Justice here takes no chance. Gavel strikes, hearts beat fast. Witness takes stand, shadows cast. Whispers loud like wildfire spread. In this game, none's ahead.
Good morning, everyone. Rubber in the house. Hi. We're going to finish out yesterday's Lori Vallow, the hearing. TCA can't be here today, so I am sub-hosting. Things happen, and she said to tell everybody she's sorry she couldn't be here, but we're going to finish up the Lori Vallow thing, and then we'll look at a couple jurors and check them out. There was a couple of jurors that actually spoke after the stream. Hey, good morning. Good morning, Evamos, and sorry, William. Hey, how are you, Mel? Who else is here? Paula's here. Sissy's here. All right. All right. Well, good morning, everybody. How are y'all? Yeah, I can't. The Karen Reed, I'm out. I watched it during the first one, and I decided that there's just I can't do a second. I can't do a round two with that one, so I'm out. But some of the jurors did speak yesterday after the trial. I'm not sure if any of y'all caught it. We're going to go over those, the jurors. And after the trial, Kay Woodcock went to Fox 10 and did an interview with, I think his name is Jason Lum. And we'll watch that and get Kay's perspective. And I think that'll be pretty interesting. I know. There's no critical thinking when it comes to Karen Reed, and I don't even know what to think about Karen Reed anymore. So, anyways, I just got a few things planned for this morning, not a lot. And then maybe we'll do a little bit of trial hopping. If anybody sees anything that's coming up good, post it in the Discord chat and or let me know in chat here, and we'll see what we can do. And I will probably be typing under TCA's thing today instead of mine. I'm not sure. Let me see if I can figure that out. Let me get this started, and I can stop and explain a little bit to y'all. All right, let's roll this morning.
Please be seated. The jury is present again. Members of the jury, you are now released from the admonition. This concludes your jury service. I want to thank you for your jury service in this matter and your attention in this matter. The admonition is lifted, meaning you can talk to anyone about any aspect of this case that you want to at this point, but you also have the right to not talk to anyone about any aspect about this case. I just need to take care of a few more matters, but if you want to wait for me in the jury room, I'd like to thank you personally, and then you can be on your way. If you don't want to wait for me, that's fine as well, but you are released to go at this time. All right, thank you.
All rise for the jury.
All right, please be seated. Do you want to talk to your advisory councils briefly to discuss whether or not you want to proceed to sentencing or wait until after the next trial?
If we could just wait till after the next trial, Your Honor.
Okay. So I'll hold off on ordering a pre-sentence report until we resolve the next remaining case. I've already set the dates and we have a status conference in mid-May on that. So unless there's anything else from the state's perspective, from anything else from your perspective?
Nope.
All right, we'll be at recess on this matter.
Let's watch her walk out. This bothered me because I seen it, and they don't come handcuff her or anything, and I didn't like that idea. I mean, I know she's got a shock belt on, but see, just casually walking out. Hello. Hello. Right, Mel. All right. So this was East Idaho News, and they transitioned over to a live, and I don't think
told her grand. Okay, we're on. All right, I'm just going to stand here for a minute. I believe Kay Woodcock said she's on her way down, everybody. Sorry to leave you hanging there. We just saw a couple of jurors who left and went and spoke with them, all of us here in the media. Different reactions from three of the jurors who we spoke with, 2 women, 1 man, who say they really didn't know anything about this case. And they're starting to learn now that Tylee Ryan is dead, J.J. Vallow is dead, learning about Tammy Daybell. They said all 3 of them told us that they were quite disappointed that Lori Vallow did not present a defense, did not testify. They were hoping to hear from her. They did not use that against her, though, when they deliberated. They said the most damning evidence that they had in all of this were the text messages from Lori, especially the one saying that, 2 bullets in the chest that Chad Daybell sent to Lori, other text messages. I'm going to play those full interviews for you later tonight on Courtroom Insider. We spoke with them. So these jurors now, one of them we just spoke with, her grandmother. She said that she went home and told her grandmother that she was called for jury duty. Her grandmother said, "What's the case?" She said, "Lori Vallow." She said her grandmother's face dropped. She had no idea that her granddaughter didn't know anything about this case. They're going to dinner tonight. I imagine they will have a lot to talk about. So the jurors have just left. There's a few that are still hanging out here. One of the female jurors said that the testimony of Kay Woodcock really touched her, and that she was pleased when she looked over at Kay Woodcock today when that guilty verdict came down. They did say that they watched the entire video that Lori asked them to watch, her police interview the day that Charles was shot. They did. That's the first thing they did. They said when they got in the jury room, and they said it really didn't change their minds. Lori was laughing. She was carefree. Of course, we talked about being nonchalant. She was nonchalant in that video, and the jurors, it didn't change their minds. They did say there were a few jurors that were convinced she was not guilty. In fact, one of the guys we spoke with said up until yesterday, he could have said she was not guilty, but the prosecutor's closing argument brought it all together for him as they laid out exactly what happened, according to the prosecutor. And now we know that that affected the jurors. They deliberated they deliberated for 17 minutes yesterday, and then this morning for about 90 minutes, and then this afternoon for about 75 minutes. So all in all, less than 3 hours to reach this guilty verdict that was read in the courtroom about an hour ago. Lori Vallow told the judge she will wait to be sentenced until after her next trial. She said that there were aggravating factors that the prosecutor could have presented in this case today and could have called witnesses to testify. Lori said she was waiving those by stipulation, basically acknowledging that those aggravating factors were there, and thus expediting the process here. Other than the sentencing, which we know will not happen until the next trial is over. I'm standing here. Kay Woodcock, I believe, is working her way down. She may have a few statements to say to the media here. And we are just waiting to see. I want to be sure I'm not missing any of the other jurors. They let them out the doors. I followed a few down to my left, and they didn't want to talk. And then a few were down here to the right. An elderly man, I shouldn't say elderly. He was a man who's probably in his 50s or 60s, along with a female who's probably in her 50s, and a woman who's probably in her 20s or 30s. All three of them serving on this juror. They said they learned yesterday that Tylee had died. And they said they were waiting during this trial to hear from Tylee Ryan. They wanted her to testify. They were wondering what happened to JJ. They were wondering about Alex. They knew that Alex had died. Lori Vallow Daybell said that in her opening argument. What they didn't know is how he died or how he played into this, at least at the beginning of the trial. They later learned that he was actively involved in this, as he was Lori Vallow's co-conspirator. So we will play those juror interviews for you tonight. For now, Lori Vallow is on her way back to the jail, where she will prepare for her next trial, which is scheduled to begin the first 2 weeks of June. She's facing a charge of conspiracy to commit the murder of Brandon Boudreaux, her former nephew-in-law. He was married to her niece, Melanie, when he was driving home from the gym in 2019, and he was shot at the first week of October. He was shot at, busted out his window of his car. He was not hit. He was not injured or killed. Well, Lori faces charges in connection to that crime, and she, again, plans to represent herself with advisory counsel, and that trial is expected to last 2 to 3 weeks. Trina Kay says that some witnesses will be coming from out of state, most likely from Idaho, perhaps some of the investigators there. This trial, we did not hear from anybody in Idaho. It was solely focused on investigators here in Arizona, firefighters, police officers, the medical examiner, the Department of Public Safety. Those were the people who testified in this trial, along with people who knew Lori Vallow well, who were friends with her, along with a woman who went on a date with Charles Vallow the night before he was shot and killed, and he told her a lot of stuff. They had texted back and forth for hours. Those are the people we heard from in this trial, and those are the people who these jurors heard from that led to the guilty verdict. So we're out here outside the courthouse. A lot of media. It's getting warm. It looks like there are some jurors getting back on the jury bus, and it looks like one of the jurors almost missed the bus. So they were hanging. See you later. Good to seeing you. Okay, so the jurors are getting on the bus. I don't know if you can show that, Jordan, or is that out of your shot? Okay, well, yeah, it's a bus. It's the bus, and the jurors are getting on the bus, and they do not have to return tomorrow. They reached their verdict, as I said, in a little less than 3 hours. The sentence that Lori Daybell could get for these crimes, 25 years to life in prison. Once she is sentenced here in Idaho, she will immediately return back to once she is sentenced here in Arizona, she will immediately return back to Idaho, where she will serve her 3 life sentences in Pocatello Women's Correctional Center. That is where she will spend the rest of her life, regardless of the outcomes here in Arizona. She is technically an Idaho inmate. She was found guilty of those crimes first. She was extradited here for her sentences or for her crimes here, and then she will return back to Idaho as soon as we have that. Kay Woodcock's coming. I'm going to get my mic on the stand.
My mic is muted and I'm talking. See? Good morning. Good morning. And again, TCA apologizes she can't be here. And if you see in chat TCA chatting, that is me typing under her ID because I am in her StreamYard. And for some reason, when I'm in her StreamYard, it lags. No, I was muted. I know. It takes me a minute. It's still early in the morning for me. I normally don't get up for another 4 or 5 hours. Anyways, but yeah, so we're gonna watch this with Kay and them, and then we'll switch over to some other jurors talking. So, but this family is such a beautiful family. I mean, this Vallow family. Watch these two in this interview.
Right up there to the mics, please. How you feeling?
Great. I'm sure that everyone has heard by now that Lori Daybell was convicted in the first degree conspiracy to commit murder against my brother Charles. And it was a relief, a long journey, and I'm just glad it's over with. I really am. My whole family is, my sisters, and I just want to thank everybody, the Arizona Prosecutor's Office, Trina K, and everyone else that was here and got us through it all. Our court advocates and the whole 9 yards. Today's a good day. We won.
Were you worried, Jerry, that the jury might come back with a not guilty at all, or were you pretty confident?
I had a little concern, but when it came back so quick, I pretty much knew that it was done. Nate. So.
What did you think of her demeanor during trial?
I thought she was.
Okay, in the background, he asked, what did you think of her demeanor during the trial? I know it's really hard to hear in the back.
Kind of a smarty pants, not real. I don't know what word I'm looking for. I know which one I would use. Right. I know which one I would use, but so anyway.
What did you think of her lawyering skills?
I thought she sucked.
You think she did herself any favors by being her own attorney?
Probably not. I'm sure the first day into the trial, she wished she would have had an attorney.
You think?
A real attorney. Right.
Did you look at her when the verdict was read?
I could see the back of her head.
And what was there? Did you have any reaction? Did she have any reaction?
I couldn't see, but she didn't shake her head or that I saw. So.
Okay, what did you think looking at her?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Come on, Kay, your turn.
I just saw the back of her head too. I couldn't see anything, and she didn't. A lot of times during court, she'd shake her head no when she didn't agree with something being said, or she would just shake her head no, and she didn't shake her head no. So I guess that means she really did do it.
She seemed to,
Oh, okay. Sorry.
She seemed to really have a visceral reaction to you.
That's what I heard.
And when you were on the stand, what was that moment like?
I didn't know that she was that shaken by me being there. And then when I got off the stand, I really didn't even know what I said. And then once Jerry and my sister Susan and our friend Laura Ferris and who else was right there? And Colby was right there. And they were like, you did so good. She was shaking like a leaf when you, and I was like, what? No way. And it was, the more I thought about it, I was like, yeah, okay. That's all I needed to know. That made my day. That of all the people she should be shaking for, and she was shaking about me, good. I was very pleased.
When she read, the verdict was read as guilty.
What
did you feel?
Oh, just 6 years of walking the pits of hell every day. And about halfway through, I realized, okay, I'm going to make it through. But it was a long time.
Elation.
It was a long time before I got to that point. But it's still difficult, but it's okay. I'm ready to move on. It's time. We've got a 10-year-old granddaughter we're raising now, and I've got my hands full, and I'm real happy to be being her grandma. So
After 6 years, does it feel real after 6 long years of walking through hell, as you mentioned?
Yes, it feels real, because for about 3 years I didn't feel anything. I was totally just didn't feel anything, numb. Then I started feeling
justice for Charles.
Yes, and this the order in which it's happened you know, this was the first incident, the first murder, and then everything up in Idaho, and then so Charles would have wanted, you know, take care of Tammy and the kids first, and get to me when they're ready. And so he would have been. He's fine, and I know that he's pleased with us, and excuse me, there was a vibe. I know he's pleased with us, and I feel I'm just I feel good.
We had a juror tell us that your testimony stuck with them, and they even saw you after and felt like there was justice for your brother. What does that mean to hear that?
Great.
I'm not sure if y'all could hear, but the question was that her testimony was what swayed a lot of the jurors, and what did she think about that?
Whatever I said, I struck a chord, and that's what I wanted to do. That's what I was trying to do, and I'm grateful. I mean, hey, the Lord put this, gave us. Well, this was thrust upon us, and our lives just went into a like a tornado for a long time, and then getting to say things in the first two trials, and then getting to speak about Charles finally, because he's been so silent. And I mean, it's just been silent where he's at. I know people thought we forgot about him, and no way, you know. And but law enforcement never stopped. Like Lori said, they didn't stop because I was right there behind with law enforcement here in Arizona, talking and saying, "What's going on now? Tell me." You know, I was in contact with them nonstop, so I knew at some point, you know, it was going to happen, and then all the other stuff, and you know, just I'm just glad we got to. I'm just glad this is done. Now we just have to get justice for Brandon, and I will be back. I can't stay the whole time for his, but I will stay as long as I can, kind of more towards the end of it, I guess, and because then it will truly be over. I say I've still got a little bit left before I can close my book. But when that's over, then I can close my book.
And Kay, I don't know if you noticed, I saw two jurors look at you as they were walking out. Did you notice that at all?
No, I didn't. I watched them walk in because I know that if they look at you when they're walking in, that's a good sign. And nobody looked at me, but I didn't see. So I didn't watch them walk out. I didn't think to look. So good. If
What'd you think?
I really couldn't hear her because, you know, that baby talk she does, that baby voice. She needs to lose that, man. I hope she grows up in prison and learns how to talk like a woman, you know, and not a baby. But anyway,
One of the jurors, the woman with the long hair, she said that she really just wanted to give you a hug. She's like, you know, afterwards, I really just wanted to give her a hug. Just
you know, in Idaho, all the jurors I've met from up there, from both trials there, that was the one thing they were like, I just wanted to hug you. I just wanted to hug you. So I hope I get to meet her. I hope she reaches out to me. Nate, if anybody calls you, give them my number, and just make sure they're a real juror. And yeah, I want to talk to them. Absolutely.
I was going to say, Kay, I'm wondering if there's anything you'd say to Lori at this point.
We got you, and you're not the smartest person in the room, and now it's time for you just to hide away, and well, after Brandon's trial, but you can just hide away and everybody's going to forget about you. We'll be on our way through our life, and she'll be rotting in prison where she deserves to be.
Like Charles always used to say, love always wins.
Yeah.
So.
And oh yeah, thank you for saying that. Yeah, love always wins was Charles's thing, and yeah, so it does.
She described this as a family tragedy.
That is absurd. That was
When you heard that mantra over and over again.
and calling Charles my husband, whom she was hated at the time, whom she was ready to kill him. You know, it's like that just shows you what she's an actress. She turns on this persona and goes with it, and then boom, she turns it off, and then there's the real her, whatever the real her is. I sure never knew her.
Tell us a little bit, just for me, about Charles. You know, let's bring it back to him and his legacy.
Hey, you want to take that one?
Oh, I'm sorry, what was that?
If you could just tell us a
them
little
about
bit about Charles and his legacy and how you want us to think
Well,
about him.
He was my big brother, you know. I followed in his footsteps. I did everything he did. He was only a year and 2 months older than me. So we hung around a lot. We had a lot of the same friends. He was a big influence in my life. And he was just a good dude. He was all the way from a kid till when she killed him. So, you know.
What did it mean to hug Trina Kay at the end? What did that feel like? To hear the verdict and give her a hug.
Well, I hugged her and told her I loved her because she did such a great job. And it felt good. It did.
And she did do a great job. And all the detectives and everybody that has worked on this case, from Nicole Byer to she's our victim advocate, and Trina and Nate Duncan and all the detectives that have come, and even we had a few visitors from Idaho that came, and that was welcome. And I got a thank you from not a thank you. I got a congratulations from Rob Wood, from the prosecutor in Idaho a while ago, and we have gained. We lost some dear family. We lost a lot, but we have gained family as well. So, you know, there's the silver lining. And even in the worst times of your life, there is something good there. You just take sometimes a little while to find it. But y'all, we're dying here.
And so,
Susan, do you want
Lauren?
to say anything? No, she doesn't want to.
And as a parting shot, they got the bitch again. Thanks, y'all.
Thank y'all.
Okay, as a parting shot. I like him. I like him. I like that brother. I think his name was Jerry. I'm not sure. But yeah, I'm not going to cuss on Katya's stream, but they got the B again. You go. You go, dude. All right. So we're going to switch over here. This is some of the jurors were speaking afterwards. This is one view of it, and the thing is there was multiple. Larry, there you go. Thank you, Forrest. Thank you. Yeah, Mel. I mean, that guy, the whole family. I mean, you know, when they speak very eloquently and very intelligent. And like sometimes you get some of these people up here that are just make you think, where do they come from? But anyways, so on to this one. What I pulled up, there's a couple different views of these juror interviews as these reporters were like chasing them down as they were coming out. And I was watching, and then I went back and found some different streams. So there's a couple different ones. So there might be a little bit of repeat in this. I'm going to play this video. It's 12 minutes long. And then I have one from Hidden True Crime, Lauren. She was out there and she did it too, but she got a little different angle and caught some different things on her live that she did. So I want to play both of them just to kind of get a little comparison here of what these jurors were saying, how they were feeling. It's quite interesting.
Knowing how high profile this case was, what's going through your head?
Sadness. It's sad. Oops, I'm sorry. It's just sad that, you know, this has happened to Charles, and she's given up her life as well. It's sad.
What did you think of her defending herself? Anything that went through the jury's head with that?
Well, for me personally, I thought, what does she have to lose? Guilty or not guilty, what does she have to lose? So,
Were any of you folks aware that this woman had already
I had never been
convicted
heard.
of
I have never heard
3
of her.
homicides?
Yeah, no,
And
I've
the
never
jurors
heard of
did
her
not know
before.
that.
No, I did not.
And nobody brought it.
And ma'am, would you want to come in and talk too? Do you want to say anything?
Just because there's a lot of backstory here, and this woman had already been convicted of 3 homicides, and they obviously didn't want you folks to know that. Nobody knew that during your deliberations.
No.
Is that correct?
Correct.
Well,
What was this experience like for you?
It was sad, like as he said. For me, it was the text messages that did it as far as evidence. And I feel like we uncovered some lies.
do you
So
think she?
Knowing now that she was convicted of killing her 2 children in Idaho,
I haven't had a chance to Google everything. I'm sure as soon as we get on the shuttle. So might have more to say later.
was that difficult going through this and
Yes,
not being able
it
to be
was.
disconnected?
Yeah.
What
It
do you
just felt
think
like there was a lot of information that didn't make sense and that was missing.
Do you think she did herself any favors by
No.
defending herself?
No,
You were not impressed with her
No.
lawyering skills.
no.
What did you think of her behavior during cross-examination? The way that at one moments she was argumentative with some of the witnesses.
I mean, many days she just was like smiling and laughing and didn't seem to take anything very seriously.
Were you hoping to hear? How much of that did that play into a factor in the decision?
It did.
Were you hoping to hear her testify? Were you hoping
Yes,
to hear
I
all
was.
witnesses?
I was.
And what about you?
I didn't understand why she didn't call anyone.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. I don't get
Or
that.
why she didn't have like, I know she made a statement about the only family that was interviewed was her estranged brother, and why wasn't her parents or her sister, but yet she didn't call them.
Well, I mean, in saying that, she is not obligated to prove her innocence.
Exactly. Yeah.
Except to-
And you gave her that benefit of the doubt. She recognized she didn't have to put on the defense.
She knew.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
absolutely, she knew.
Was the fact that she didn't put up a defense or take the stand in her own defense part of your deliberation at all?
Did it was all evidence. It was all evidence that was produced
Yeah.
and presented to us.
Sorry if this was asked. What would you say the biggest piece of evidence for you guys as a jury was when you came to the decision?
Well, for me, like her, it was text.
The text
were damning.
history.
What
text
What
Can you
specifically
tell us
about the
which
text?
Oh, there were so
I don't know
many.
if I can do that. Yeah, there was.
I
Well,
mean,
there
we
was
had
2 of them for me
pages.
that really stood out.
Can you
Which
tell us
ones?
Which ones?
The Nephi.
Yeah, that was one of them. Soon you will be Nephi, and so will I. So that was one of them. But I don't know if I should say anything.
We heard so much about dark spirits and religion and how this all plays into it. I mean, as a jury, what's going through your head when you start hearing that in court?
For me, that didn't really play a big role because you have to have evidence of conspiracy, and that is not evidence of conspiracy to me. To
Was
say
it-
somebody
Was it unusual for you guys to? I mean, you're talking about her brother Alex, the guy who actually did was the trigger. So many players were referenced in this trial, and you never saw them, and never heard
Correct.
from them. That had to be confusing when
It
you
was
guys got
very
back in the
confusing.
jury room. Yeah.
Yeah. It was very confusing.
What did how
It
did
just
what-
felt like there was so much of the story that was missing.
Did she have any valid arguments, like anything that made you think maybe she's not guilty?
Do you want to answer? I can't think of any.
You know, honestly, up until yesterday, I would have said not guilty. But when the prosecutor, I don't know, what do they call that? When they give when they
Closing argument?
Yeah.
Argument.
Yes, the closing
Connected
argument.
the
That's
dots.
really there. So a few things she said in there. When I looked them up today, I was like, oh yeah, that's bad.
And you were still on the fence yesterday.
I was yesterday. Yes.
Give us a sense of what it was like to be in that jury room. Was there a point that someone was disagreeing, saying that maybe she is not guilty?
Yes.
Or you guys
There was
all-
a couple.
And what was that like? Walk us through that.
It's just a matter of, adults working things out, and going through all the evidence and figuring out, what we thought, what we were going to come to an agreement with.
To learn now that everyone that was in that house that day, minus Daybell, is all not with us anymore, is dead or has been killed. I mean, what is that like to hear as jurors walking out?
Sad. Like I kept wanting to hear from Tylee.
I was going to ask, is anybody wondering why Tylee wasn't testifying?
Yes.
You were.
Did you ever ask the judge why aren't they here? Or...
No. And the one witness that really got to me was hearing Kay. I was holding back my emotions.
One of the biggest factors in your decision today?
One of the biggest factors was probably when we were sitting there, whenever they would ask a question about the Mormon stuff and all that, she would just kind of look at us and smile and smirk. So it kind of gave it away for a lot of it. Just kind of didn't really care.
What were those conversations like in the jury room? I mean, going back and forth when everyone was deliberating. Can you kind of put us inside that room with you?
Let's see. It was kind of, so a lot of us already knew. A couple of us just needed the extra, we need to re-look back through the evidence, the text messages and all that. So it was a little bit of back and forth, but all of us were pretty sure we already knew what we wanted.
Was there one piece of evidence that really convinced you she was guilty?
Probably when she said that he was Ned before they got rid of him. That was probably the part where we were like, okay, now it's real.
Did you ever wonder why Tylee wasn't testifying as a witness?
Yes. We didn't really have much to say about it though, because we didn't really know anything, why she didn't, stuff like that.
And do you understand now that every other witness that was there that day is now dead?
Yes.
When did you learn that?
At the end, when we first were walking out, everyone was talking about it, and we got told to look up her previous stuff so that we were aware.
And in that jury room, this woman has been convicted of 3 homicides. You guys didn't know that.
We did not.
None of you guys knew that.
Correct. Yeah. Yep.
And then hearing all the missing pieces in the trial, and people who didn't testify, there were a lot of holes when you went into the jury room. That were not explained to you.
Yes.
Must have made it much more difficult.
It did, which is why we went back through everything just to make sure we didn't miss anything, to make sure that we were 100% on what we were choosing to do.
Was there anything that made you think she might not be guilty?
No.
When you went back to the deliberation room, were there any jurors that were uncertain and some that were certain? Where did you start? What was the foundation for deliberations?
I think probably 10 out of 12 of us were certain. The other 2, we helped them go back to what they needed to learn to kind of make up their mind. And then, we just kind of went from there.
Did you guys look at any additional evidence once you were back there? Because I know that not all of the evidence was presented in court, and they said there was additional. Lori asked you to watch the entire interview, for example, and Trina K invited you to do the same. Did you guys do any of that?
We did. That was actually one of the first things we did, because what we saw was only clip-its. And going back through it, it was actually kind of the whole interview that was like that. She asked us to watch the whole thing, but the whole thing was pretty much those clip-its, other than her laughing, smiling about, she was kind of just at peace. Like, she was just sitting there, her legs were crossed. She was sitting all the way up on the seat with no shoes on, just her legs were crossed like she was in her own home.
Lori made a big deal out of being called nonchalant or calm throughout the entire trial. Didn't think it was really fair. Was that something that affected you guys, her calmness or nonchalantness?
Yes. Being that calm when everything happened, it's not something that you would normally be calm about. expect to be sad asking how your brother's doing since he was the one that got injured during it too. She didn't do any of that. She already knew it happened and she just went with it like that.
Did you want her to testify?
I guess I don't know. Yes, seeing Charles's sister's reaction when they did say she pled guilty was really relieving. It made all of us feel really good that they got justice.
Can we get your first and last name?
Natasha Smith,
Natasha Smith.
also known as Tosh Reed Tucker, though.
Tosh Reed Tucker.
Yes.
Can you spell that?
TASS, and then my last name is Reed Tucker, REED-Tucker.
Do you plan to go watch a bunch of stuff about this case now, or are you
Yes, I believe we're told that there's a Netflix documentary, and you can basically just Google it. Everything will pop up. So that's probably what I'm gonna do when I get home.
You're gonna die.
Yeah.
And you really didn't know anything about this case coming on as a juror?
No, and I told my grandma that I got requested for jury, and she asked if I know anything about it. I told her the name, and her jaw dropped. Like I was supposed to know who she was. Like she thought it was insane that I didn't know what was happening. But I just moved here 2 years ago as of March, so I didn't really know anything to begin with. But my grandma did, and she thought I was just crazy for not knowing.
Where'd you live previously?
Minnesota.
And so your grandmother was able to keep a tight lip on things?
She did, yes, she did.
Fun discussion.
Yeah, and I actually see her tonight too, because my mom just flew in from Minnesota, so I'm gonna go see them after this, and we're probably gonna watch everything.
I have a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Pause. Let's listen to this.
Sorry, I was muted, guys. Sorry. So we're going, this was, Lauren went over and talked to one of the jurors again. So she spoke again. And then there's also, stick my tongue out at you too, yo. God, dear, no rush, huh? No rush. We're fine. We're fine. Do what you got to do, babe. I'm good. Anyways, Lauren went back and she talked to this juror in the blue, the lady again. And then we've got one more interview of the gray-headed man in the blue shirt, too.
Thank you.
You know?
Yeah. Right.
I know now. I mean, bit. Yes.
That's what I want to know. Where are his charges? Return missionary. Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
that's not part of
Yeah.
So, okay, so being raised Mormon, when you heard her argue the Nephi story, what was your thought?
wise.
Yeah.
Like I didn't. I'm like.
We know what Nephi and Laban.
Everybody knows what Nephi's known for. Whether
Right.
or not, you know, there's more to it. That's the primary thing that he's known for in the Book of Mormon.
Yeah. So being raised Mormon, I am curious, were there any other LDS people on the jury today? Or today, this month?
I was the only one.
You're the only one.
So I had lots. They had.
Yeah. Did you have insight
Yeah.
to that?
Yeah.
Interesting. And what did you think about, you were just one of two women on the jury?
That was really weird too.
I was
surprised
baffled.
that there was all men.
I was too. I had never seen that.
This is weird.
I know.
Yeah.
I know, you had to represent a lot in there. Yeah. Anything, and just full disclosure, I'm Lauren with Hidden True Crime, and I've been covering this for 5.5 years. At what point did you?
That was another thing. Why are we? Is it normal for an investigation to take that many years?
Well, they have a lot of cases.
But I didn't. Well, yeah, but I didn't.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
Yeah. But that's why
And
they
got
had to do the
back
first case.
together in 2022 to really dig into stuff. So from 2019 to 2022, it was like they picked things up where they left off. And I'm like, why such the delay?
Yeah, I also wonder if it was because of COVID.
I was going to ask that question, but I didn't know if it was a stupid question or if they would even answer me. Yeah.
What did you think about some of the odd, loud bus? What did you think about some of the odd redirects? You know, you don't know, of course, what we're thinking sitting in there, but we thought the enchilada jab with her brother were.
I didn't understand at all. I was like, why is any of this relevant?
You're right.
Seriously, why?
Right.
It makes sense.
Yeah. Right.
And there were certain things that she said also that I was like, are you supporting yourself or are you supporting the plaintiff? Like the state, it just didn't make sense to me.
Right.
Like she was questioning who shot the gun. You don't know if I shot the gun, Tiger shot the gun, Alex, and I was like, well, so what are you saying? Should we be, looking into that? Like,
I agree. Forget the bus. There it goes. At what point did they tell you about the children and the fact that there is no witness still alive? And you really didn't know? Were there people in your life that knew what you were doing and just stayed tight-lipped? Okay. Okay. Wow. So they did a good job. You just said, don't talk to me.
did you know that she was offered a lawyer and chose to represent herself? Well, I assumed that.
Sorry about the bus, guys.
Because some public have thought she felt sorry for her, thinking she couldn't afford a lawyer. So I wondered if the jury, even if you can't afford one, you can still be assigned. So it wasn't made clear, but just on your previous knowledge, you guys assumed that. I kind of caught on that maybe she likes the camera.
Yeah.
What did you think every time that they were like,
Could we scoot down just a little bit? That bus is not going. Oh, it's her bus. It's your bus. It's your bus.
It's our bus.
Yeah, it's your bus. Okay. We'll get you in touch. Okay.
Okay. So there's that. This is a little short interview of, some just don't think it's right to play sometimes to have an interview. Yeah, I know. It's just kind of odd to be bombarding them as they're coming out of the courthouse. I didn't like that, but hey, it is what it is. So, this is the guy that made the comment. If you listen carefully, when he gets into the conversation, he starts talking, and then he discusses that on the way home yesterday, this bothered me so much. On the way home yesterday, he was thinking about her 3 life sentences. So how did he know that she already had 3 life sentences if he didn't look up about the case? That's my problem. So, all right, here goes.
There, we are waiting to hear from family members. I know Kay Woodcock has told me that she wants to speak to the media briefly. This is a big weight off her shoulders, fighting for justice for Charles. But you guys know this. Not only was she fighting for Charles, but she was fighting for JJ and Tylee. But I think specifically JJ, you have this grandmother, biological grandmother, who trusted Lori Vallow, of course, trusted her brother Charles to adopt him and take him in. Okay, looks like we have another juror. Let's go to Rem 13.
When you went into deliberation, were you still unsure?
Well, I was unsure up until yesterday, really. and then through deliberation, I mean, that's the whole purpose of it, is, you know, to bring out the evidence and talk about every facet of it that we can understand. So yeah, that's yesterday I was still on the fence.
Yeah. Was it just maybe the magnitude of how big this decision was, or maybe the lack of evidence, the missing pieces? What was it?
For me, it was, where is the proof of conspiracy? You know, I mean, the bullet's over there, the bat's over there, there's a hole there. You know, none of that has anything to do with conspiracy. It has everything to do with Alex shot him. All right. So my big thing was, if you're going to say something, how does that how does that go along with the conspiracy to commit murder? That was my big thing. And like I said, it was the text that threw me.
Was there a specific text message?
There were two specific ones, but I'm not sure I should talk about them.
Yeah. And because we've seen, you know, a lot of this evidence too. Does that make that any different for you, or no?
Can you tell me what evidence you saw on the text messages? There was one that had something to do with insurance. That was one of them. And the other one was basically the Nephi thing. So.
Now that you know that so many people that were talked about in this case are dead, did you know that originally, or that's?
I had never heard of Lori Daybell before I got picked for this jury. I've never, because I watch Fox News, but I don't watch Fox News 10. I watch Fox News. I like the different shows that are on it, but I don't watch NBC or CBS or anything like that. So I didn't know. No, I had no idea of any of it.
Now when you're realizing the magnitude of this case, what's kind of
That's Kinsey.
It's just, wow. That's all I can say. It's huge.
Yeah. Do you remember your reaction learning that she has been convicted in killing her 2 children?
You know, I feel sorry for her. You know, I mean, driving home yesterday, I was like, God, she's spending the next 3 lives in prison in a cell. You know, I mean, you got to feel sorry for her, even though, I mean, that's awful thing to do. I mean, there's something wrong up here, but what do you say? Still, you know, you just feel awful about it. But,
And you said it was the text messages that really changed it for you. You were confident in that decision going forward.
Absolutely confident. Once we talked about those particular text messages, absolutely confident, 100%.
So you said it was the text message about the insurance, and then the one where she said that his soul is already dead or something along those lines.
No, it was the kind of like everything's coming to a head. Soon you'll be Nephi, and so will I. That was one of the texts, and then the other one was he changed the beneficiary basically before we got to him, before we made him gone. So that was the other one.
Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you. Nice to meet you. Of course, the bus.
Okay, so
All right. So I found that maybe, I don't know. Hopefully he misspoke. All right, we're going to review. Let's see. So actually, Kay went and did an interview with Jason Lum. We're going to watch that real quick.
if you have been following the case of the Lori Vallow Daybell saga, then you know exactly who the person is that I'm talking to right now. We are honored to have Kay Woodcock here. Kay is the sister of Charles Vallow, also the grandmother of JJ Vallow. She has sounded the alarm since the beginning. She has testified in now 3 trials for Lori Vallow Daybell, against her and against Chad Daybell. And today, you were in that courtroom for the verdict that said Lori Vallow Daybell is guilty of conspiring in your brother's death. I know you spoke to the media a little bit ago, but I mean, when you look back at this, December 2019, and we were talking to each other, and you couldn't fathom, you're trying to wrap your head around everything that had unfolded at the time. Just what is it like sitting here just hours after this verdict has been read?
Well, it seems it's real. For a long time, going through all this, everything seemed artificial and not real because I've learned that's part of trauma stuff. But it's so gratifying that she was found guilty. I mean, everybody in the world knew she was. She did everything except put a camera on herself to do it, and the everything was. It's such a huge relief that now we have Brandon's trial left, and as far as I know, I'm not in it, but I will be here to support him for a little while when I can, towards the end, because then that's when I believe they'll do the sentencing for Lori as well. So I'll be able to save a trip right there. But I'll be here for to support Justin and Jenny, and it means a lot when people would come sit with us in court and just go through it, because being in court every day is really listening to her baby talk every day was excruciating. And that every day I went home with a different tiredness, a different exhaustion than I did with after Chad's trial or after her first trial. She didn't say a word in that. And this trial with her talking, I was more drained and just exhausted at the end of the day than I ever was at any of the first two trials. So, and the only difference was she was talking. So that baby talk and and repetitiveness, and she is not a lawyer. She's going to be a good prisoner because she doesn't need to be out in society. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think when you were up there on the stand, there's only about 5 questions he asked you, and that was really a big day. You as a key witness talking about your brother Charles Vallow and the change of life insurance beneficiary, and how she was upset, and she told the jury that she wasn't upset and she had these kids to take care of. But looking at this now and how the jury has reacted, do you feel like they have easily seen through the quote defense and what she put on?
Watching, I tried to think about how, as a juror, I would be interpreting what was being given to me as evidence, and without knowing all the Idaho stuff and all the other stuff, which is a whole lot of stuff. I just could never put myself in there. I couldn't imagine myself in that position, but I do know that Trina presented some good evidence. I mean, yes, it was circumstantial, but I mean, Lori did everything. Alex wanted to kill Charles. Lori was just, they're idiot criminals, number one. But it just was, Justin, what was your question?
No,
I
you
totally
answered
went
it.
off.
You
I'm
answered it, and I
really
think you made a
like,
good point that in the first trial, she's just sat there because she
Yeah.
didn't testify, and it was up to her public defenders to put on some sort of defense. No witnesses were called. But I don't think any one of us and yourself would predict that she would be acting as her own attorney in 2025 for 2 trials, let alone 1, and defending herself against this conspiracy to commit murder charge, and being so close to home. Your brother, you broken bread with him, you helped him move, listened to him cry, and go
Yeah.
through all of this. Have you even, I don't even think it's sunk in that, you
I
never
don't think it
stopped and never
has.
forgot about Charles.
No.
Obviously JJ was a top priority. Let's be real. But
Right.
you knew that this was going to come.
I knew it was, and I just, if I've learned nothing else throughout all this, is patience. Things will happen in time, and you can't control everything. And I learned that early on. Otherwise, I'd have never survived this whole ordeal because it was wait, you know.
You and Larry were, I think, kind of the faces of the first two trials in Idaho. Have you spoken to Larry? And I'm just curious what his reaction was.
I have not.
Oh, okay.
I tried to let him know that the verdict was in and I couldn't get him on the phone. And anyway, I asked his sister to try and find him. She didn't know who he was. But anyway, I think he was probably outside cutting grass. But anyway, so Larry, she's guilty if you're watching.
Yeah,
and I'll call you after a while.
It's been such a whirlwind. I don't know how many days you sat through, and obviously there was some graphic evidence, and it's not easy to see pictures of your brother in that state. And I know you didn't want to.
I didn't. And whenever sometimes stuff would come up on the screen, like during the Trina's closing, I caught a few little glimpses, but I didn't sit and look at it. I just looked down, closed my eyes.
You've gotten to watch though this team in Idaho prosecute Lori, same team in Idaho prosecute Chad Daybell, who's now on death row, and now you get to see this Arizona prosecutor and her team. Does this give you even more hope and belief in the justice system?
Absolutely, absolutely. I've had. Okay, so good morning. Welcome back, William. So here we go. This is fixing to start. This is the Gilgo Beach Lisk Long Island serial killer. Hang on just a minute. I'm going a little crazy here. Yes. Okay. So this is a press conference that's fixing to start. If you know anything about the Long Island serial killer, there is hang on just a second. Let me close a couple of these tabs so I can make sure that we don't lose anything during this. And let's make this full screen. There we go. And they're going to have a live news conference, and they're going to go over and actually name Peaches and the baby, I am thinking. So let's see what they come up with. We're waiting for them to go live. This has been ongoing for a long time, so I've kind of been excited to watch this. Thanks, guys. Katya, go do what you need to do, girl. I told you. Everybody's still asleep. I hope my fan's not too loud in the background. All right, I think they're fixing to start. Okay. Oh, they need to go to the sound. That's their music. You saw a pimple? Yeah. They're not talking yet. I can't wait. I'm so excited. You know, I've been following this for years. Y'all get y'all Zoom fixed. Zoom in on that flag. Make it focus. Nope. Zoom in here. Make it focus. Is it, Mel? Beautiful day outside. Not here in Texas. We have rain. We have some nasty shit going on. I don't even, or stuff. Sorry, Katya. Sorry. I have a potty mouth. I try very hard not to cuss during your stream.
Okay, here we go. 1 minute out. Okay, that's what he said. 1 minute out. So they're fixing to start. So I know. I'm sorry. Sunny and 60 in PA. Let's eavesdrop for this 1 minute. I'm going to mute my mic and they're going to start. Ready, guys? Let's roll.
That's been a minute.
Everybody has their phones on, right? Yeah. When you, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to pause it. You can hear him in the background. Somebody said, "Everybody got your phone charged?" You know, it's funny when they say 1 minute and it seems like it's 5. I'm like Conti. I have no patience with. Okay, here they come. Shh, quiet, Sheila.
Is anybody not ready?
You guys come on the other side.
I'll leave it here for you. All right, we're good. Everyone's ready? Good morning. My name is Detective Lieutenant Scott Skornecki from the Public Information Office. We are here today to discuss updates on a 1997 homicide case. We have some of our friends in law enforcement here today to speak with you. You'll hear from the Police Commissioner, Patrick Ryder, the Nassau County District Attorney, Ann Donnelly. From the FBI, we have the Assistant Director in charge of the New York Field Office, Chris Rea, as well as the Special Agent in charge of the New York Criminal Division, Leslie Bakshies. To provide some details about the investigation, you'll hear from the Commanding Officer of the Homicide Squad, Detective Captain Stephen Fitzpatrick. Commissioner?
So good morning, everybody. I'm going to be really brief. First of all, I have to thank our partners, our district attorney, who's done a great job, Suffolk County, who's worked with us, the FBI, who's done great work with us. We're not here if we're not working together as a team. That's the most important part. We just left the county exec's office. He got a full briefing on everything, so everybody is up to date on where we are, and you will get the information that we have here. My one announcement here today is the information leading, any information leading to an arrest and hopefully a conviction of the person that did these horrendous acts. We are offering a $25,000 Crime Stoppers Award. So please, anybody with information, after you hear it from Detective Captain Fitz, please give us any information you have. There's a $25,000 Crime Stoppers reward. I'm now going to turn it over to the district attorney.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you also to the FBI, who has helped us so much in this investigation, the Suffolk County Police Department. Today is a bittersweet day. Today, after decades, we are finally going to be able to tell you the identities of 2 victims back from 1997. The mother's name was Tanya. The baby's name was Tatiana. You'll get more detailed information on their identities from Captain Fitzpatrick. The reality is, our work has just begun. Knowing the identities of the mom and the little baby is just a first step to help us get to solving these murders. Having their identities helps us now say to the public, please, if you knew Tanya, if you worked with her, if you met her at the grocery store, you had an interaction with her, please contact us and let us know. Every little thing we can find out about her leading up to her death will help us to solve this horrific, horrific crime. We stand here together, as the commissioner said. If it wasn't for our partners, we would never have gotten to this moment. We want to find out more about who they are and where they were and where they were coming from. My office is ready. My cold case unit and homicide prosecutors have worked alongside the Nassau County Police Department, the Suffolk Police Department, the FBI, to get us to this day. For the past few years, my prosecutors have helped piece together unsolved homicides and identify perpetrators. That work included prosecuting a known serial killer we connected with a more than 50-year-old homicide in one of the oldest DNA cases in the county. Solving aging cases like these are extraordinarily challenging, especially as evidence and people's memories fade in time. But we will never give up. We will never give up. Not on an unsolved homicide, not on Tanya and Tatiana. We will follow every lead. We will pull at every thread until we can get justice for this mother and this child. Tremendous work has been done already to get us to this point. I look forward to continuing this partnership and determining what happened to Tanya and Tatiana. Thank you.
All right, good morning. I'm Christopher Rea, the Assistant Director in charge of the New York Field Office. I first want to start by thanking the DA as well as the Police Commissioner in allowing us to be part of this press conference today, as well as being able to share our role as an assisting agency in this matter. It's an honor here to be in the presence with the Commissioner and the DA and the other law enforcement entities that work this case as we announce our joint role in working to identify Tanya and Tatiana. I hope today's announcement brings a sense of peace to their family and loved ones. I must first thank the persistent efforts of Nassau County Police Department. Their tireless work to ensure Tanya and Tatiana were not forgotten. And it's the reason we are all here today. This announcement highlights law enforcement partnerships at their finest. Investigators who were unwilling to yield and accept what may have seemed like a dead end, but instead sought new avenues to find answers. By inviting the FBI to help in this case, we were able to contribute new and innovative resources to the table in the form of our immensely skilled investigative genetic genealogy, or IGG team. You may have heard a lot about these teams recently in several cold cases across the country. The IGG team combines crime scene DNA with traditional genealogy research and historical records to generate leads to identify unknown DNA, which is what happened in this particular case. The meticulous work of our team, in partnership with the determined efforts of the detectives from the Nassau County Homicide Squad, ultimately helped confirm the identities of our victims in the case. I'd also like to thank the Suffolk County Police Department, both the Nassau and Suffolk County District Attorney's Office, the Nassau County Medical Examiner's Office, and the Suffolk County Crime Lab for their invaluable partnership and assistance in this investigation. This sharing of information and techniques demonstrates the crucial role of long-ship partnerships. Quite simply, this case would still be unknown victims had these partnerships not exist. Today, there is nothing we can't do. The FBI, as you've heard the director state many times, has a long memory, and we will always seek justice for victims, no matter how much time has passed. Thank you.
I'd like to thank everybody for being here today to help us in this pursuit for justice. As you see up on the screens right now is the infamous tattoo of the peaches. Today, we'd like to provide an update on these identities of the two homicide victims who have historically been referred to by the nicknames Peaches and Baby Dove. The first victim was an African-American female. She was located over 27 years ago. On June 28, 1997, Her torso was found in the Hempstead Lake State Park, which is located within Lakeview, New York. This victim had the tattoo you see up on the screen on her chest. It's a heart-shaped peach with a bite out of it with a drop coming from it. Based on this tattoo, the victim has commonly been referred to as Peaches. The second victim was Baby Doe. Baby Doe was the second victim discovered just over 14 years ago. On April 11th, 2011, she was found near Ocean Parkway in Babylon, New York, and has been included with the Gilgo Beach murders. This victim was a toddler. She was believed to be 2 years old at the time. She's been referred again as Baby Doe. In 2015, the victims were linked. Through DNA analysis, Peaches was identified as the mother for Baby Doe. Although we linked them together as mother and daughter, we still did not know their identities. In 2020, the FBI assisted us, and the DNA was turned over to their team. They began their investigative genetic genealogy studies, which would eventually lead to the identifications of these victims. Agents and detectives subsequently interviewed family members and obtained DNA samples to confirm the identities through our Nassau County Crime Lab. As a result of this technology, the interviews, the further DNA testing and analysis, we can now provide the names to both victims. Tanya is Tanya Denise Jackson. Tanya was born on October 22nd, 1970 in Alabama. When she was found in 1997, Tanya was 26 years old and a single mother. She was a U.S. Army veteran, as you see her in her fatigues. She was living in Brooklyn, New York. And at the time, she drove a 1991 Geo Storm color black. This is her daughter, Tatiana Marie Dykes. Tatiana Marie Dykes was born March 17, 1995 in Texas. She was a 2-year-old female, and again, the body was discovered along Ocean Parkway in Babylon, Gilgo Beach area. Again, in 2015, she was linked to her mother through DNA analysis. This is both of them as they appeared back then. As the DA said, now we're asking for your help to get the word out to the public in our continued efforts to seek justice for Tanya and Tatiana. Please take a look at these photos. This is how they are in 1997. The next photos I'll show you is the jewelry that they were both wearing at the time their bodies were found. Also, the vehicle I mentioned that is similar to the one that Tanya owned. This is Tanya's jewelry. These are bracelets that she was wearing at the time. This is Tatiana's jewelry, a pair of earrings and a necklace. The aspects are front and side views of them. It's not multiple earrings. It's just in one pair. This is a Geo Storm that's similar to the car that Tanya owned and drove in 1997. Obviously, this is not the actual car. This is all the above photos you just saw. We now ask you again for the public's help. Please share any interactions you may have had with Tanya and Tatiana. Through our investigation, we've learned a lot about them, and as the DA says, we always want to learn more. More about Tanya Denise Jackson. There's some further information that might help people in the public to recall an encounter with her. Again, she was born October 22nd, 1970 in Alabama. She's also associated with Georgia, Texas, and Missouri. She's a U.S. Army veteran. In 1997, she was living at 230 54th Street in Brooklyn, New York. She was possibly employed at a doctor's office in a medical assistant capacity while living in Brooklyn. While she would go to work, it's reported to us that there might have been a female friend or neighbor who would watch the baby when she went to work. Tanya drove the 91 Geo Storm. Tanya served honorably in the U.S. Army from July of 1993 to February of 1995 in the following military installations: Fort Sam Houston in San Antonio, Texas, Fort Gordon in Augusta, Georgia, Fort Leonard Wood in the Missouri Ozarks. Anybody who's in the military that might have served with her and remembers her, please be in touch, get in contact with us. Did you serve with her in the military? Were you a neighbor or coworker during her time here in Brooklyn? Maybe you saw them at a medical appointment where she worked or were her friend. We want to hear from you. Now, although Tanya and Tatiana have commonly been linked to the Gilgo Beach serial killings because the timing and locations of their recovered remains, we are not discounting the possibility that their cases are unrelated from that investigation. Speculation and theories by people and on the internet should not be brought into this. As this investigation moves forward, we will continue to work closely with all our law enforcement, local and federal agencies to move forward, including Suffolk County. We'd like to thank all the agencies for all their help, for being here today, for ensuring that we could get to this point. This has been a culmination of a lot of work, as the district attorney said, for many different people over the years, retired detectives that still show interest, that call and tell us about things. We never gave up on striving for justice for either Tanya or Tatiana, and we will not. But we know there's more work to be done, and we're determined to find the reasons and circumstances that led to their untimely deaths. If you have any information, please reach out to us directly or through the Crime Stoppers number you will see soon. In conclusion, there's some people we'd like to thank. First of all, we'd like to thank the Crime Stoppers Board for their generosity of increasing the reward to $25,000. Next, a special thanks to the Nassau County crime victims and Douglas Matthey of Horton Matthey Funeral Home in Greenport, New York. Through their time and generosity, they helped us to make it possible to reunite Tanya and Tatiana and have them laid to rest back home in Alabama with their family in full military honors. Again, this is Tanya and Tatiana. We will not discuss evidence. We will not discuss suspects. We will not discuss any facts of this case. We're just giving information at this time and seeking feedback and information of people that knew them. But I will open it up to questions.
When did you identify them?
So back in 2020, we gave our DNA sample to the FBI. They started their work, which was long and tedious. Their research is, if you knew how much it took, it's incredible, the work that they put in. In 2022, I believe they came up with an identification they believe might be the two. In 23, we had a meeting with the FBI where they revealed their information to us, and we immediately started traveling to gather DNA samples, interview the family, and in early 24, we positively identified them as Tanya and Tatiana.
Have you identified the father of the child?
We have identified the father. We have spoken to him, and he's been cooperative.
Is he considered a person of interest?
I wouldn't even say that if it's true.
Did the father report them missing?
He did not. So she was Tanya's relationship with a lot of people, unfortunately, was estranged. Even her family, she was estranged from. So there came a long time when she wasn't reported missing by people. And she was traveling with the military and such, so that made it possible for that to happen.
I guess that the father and Tanya were not living together because it's so close.
They were not living together.
Can you tell us why it took a year to announce to us that they've been identified?
We had 27 years of catching up to do. The needs of the investigation dictated that we withhold that information until we talked to the family, settled their remains, and put them laid into rest.
When did that funeral service happen?
Within the last month or two.
Sorry.
Could you tell us exactly where she was located?
I'm sorry?
Could you tell us exactly where she was located?
Who are you speaking to?
Peaches and
Peach's torso was found in Hempstead Lake Park in Lakeview, and the toddler was found in the easternmost point of Ocean Parkway.
Thank you, everyone. We're going to have a press release going out with their names within the hour.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Will
Thank
the
you.
photos be included in the press release?
Scott?
Yes,
Let's
yes.
say how the family reacted to knowing the resolution, what happened.
27 years, Dave. A peace case.
We got them right here, boys. 21.
Just the big ones. These are the Crime Stopping Force if you want to get all of them.
Okay, I'm going to pause it right there because I'm going to see. Y'all see we're zooming in? This is what we did not see. This is what I was hoping to see. This is Peaches, which is now Tanya, and the baby, Tatiana. That is the faces of the people from the list. Yes. Yes, look at that happy little baby face. I just wanted to zoom in on that. I wanted everybody to be able to see that. That's what I was hoping to see. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, let me let it finish. I don't know. I don't think they were going to say anything else. Here's another picture. Another little view of Tatiana. Look at that baby. And that's the car, the tattoo. And that much must be Tanya Jackson's. I think that's a driver's license picture. I know. I'm sorry, Mel. I'm sorry. But I just wanted to be sure that that baby's picture was out there. Bless her little heart. So, yeah. All right. Okay. So, what we're going to watch next is yesterday, Stephan Sterns had a hearing. So we're going to watch that hearing. Actually, you know what? Yeah, let's watch this hearing. Let's watch this hearing. It's only 12 minutes long, but it's interesting. As anybody knows, Stephan Sterns with the Madeline Soto case, it's a very emotional, very heartbreaking case. And Stephan showed up to court, and yeah, it's all good. I know, but Stephan showed up to court, and yeah, here it is. And they're going to have another interview later today. So here we go. Let's watch this. Roll.
We're on the record, State of Florida versus Stephan Michael Sterns, 2024 CF 632. Appearances for the record, please.
Danielle Pennell and William J. for the state.
Alicia Smith and Alex Johnson on behalf of Mrs. Stephan Sterns.
Thank you. All right, the court has set this hearing on the defense's motion to continue the suppression hearing, which is currently set for tomorrow afternoon at 2 p.m. Defense, do you wish to present argument with respect to your motion?
Yes, Judge, and defense has provided a copy to the state already. I'm going to give you a moment to read, Judge, or you want me?
Just a moment. Please highlight the McKay factors.
Essentially, Judge, they are essentially stand for the same
Familiar
purpose.
with the McKay factors. Thank you.
And the cases that I provided to the court are both from the state 272 Southern 3rd 876, a 50 CA case from 2019, Turner v. State 311 Southern 3rd 185, a second DCA case from 2020, McKay versus State, first DCA 504 Southern 2nd 1280 from 1986, and unpublished opinion that only has a Westlaw site so far, Surratt versus State 2025 Westlaw 1119091 from last week from April of 2025. Trocola versus State, 867 Southern 2nd, 129, 50 CA from 2004, and Singer versus State, 286 Southern 3rd, 343, a 50 CA from 2019. Essentially, Judge, defense is moving to continue the motion to suppress the set for the afternoon, tomorrow afternoon. And looking at the Bofo case, it essentially says that in moving for a continuance, defense just has to show that we haven't had a reasonable time to investigate or litigate the case. And that is balanced against the judicial economy and judicial efficiency in the court managing their documents, turning to the McKay factors, as well as the factors that are listed in, I believe, Turner, that looks to a defense suffering an injustice by failing to grant the continuance, as well as if the delay was attributable to the defense or if it was unforeseen. Defense would argue that the intention is not to delay the court, isn't to be derelict in our duties. Defense is moving for this continuance based off of, as the court is aware, there is a second case, and preparing for the motion, as well as in preparing the other case for trial. Defense is coming to information that at this time the court defense is in a position to be able to divulge to the court or in open court.
So your good cause is secret?
Essentially, Judge. Well, I can't in good faith at this time, being that it's still being explored. I don't know which way it's going to go, if it's going to be something that's going to pan out in favor of defense or be able to be something to be utilized in this case. As the court is aware, a death notice has been filed in the second case, and while I'm not arguing specifically as to that case, in that death notice, this case is used as one of the aggravating factors. So a conviction on this case would be one of the aggravating factors the state would potentially be seeking in the death notice in terms of the homicide case. Defense would argue that this information has come to light recently, and we're still in the process of working through it and figuring out if it's something that wouldn't be available in this case. If the defense were to go forward with the motion to suppress at this point, potentially would be relitigated depending on the court's ruling on that. In terms of just regular pretrial in the case, we would to continue the regular pretrial even aside from the motion to suppress hearing, because we did an evidence viewing. We weren't able to complete the evidence viewing, and the second part of that evidence viewing is scheduled for June 11th with the state in this case. So defense essentially is moving to continue balancing the both factors as well as the McKay factors. Defense believes that this isn't a unreasonable request on the court and filing a motion and getting this set for a hearing and still doing their due diligence in terms of preparing the case otherwise for trial and for the motion to suppress in and of itself.
All right. So the McKay factors, so we're on the same page, deal with a request to continue the trial. The other factors that you mentioned deal with a request to continue either a trial or a substantive hearing for absence of a critical witness. State response?
Yes, Your Honor. The state has not been in receipt of any witness list or any defense discovery in this case. The defendant in this case was arrested on February 29th of 2024. The public defender's office was appointed the next day at initial appearances. The discovery process started after the information was filed on March 11th of 2024. The state responded to the defense's demand for discovery on March 20th, 2024, and discovery has been ongoing. The motions to suppress that are currently set for hearing tomorrow were filed by the defense on February 6th of 2025. There was a motion to close the courtroom on February 28th of 2025. A notice of hearing for the closure of the courtroom was filed February 24th of 2025. Upon the denial of the defense's motion to close the courtroom on March 27th of 2025, the defense filed a notice of hearing for these motions to suppress. So these have been pending hearing since March 27th of 2025. The defense filed the motions to continue. The defense waited approximately almost 2 months, a little 2.5 months to request hearing time. The hearing has been set The state filed responses to the defendant's motions to suppress on April 8th of 2025. And then I was contacted by defense. We had a discussion about their request to continue these hearings on April 10th, and a written motion to continue was filed on April 14th of 2025. The written motion filed by defense, the state's position is vague. It is unclear whether this information is necessary for a defense, is necessary for the hearing. The motion simply states that it may affect the presentation of evidence. The state has subpoenaed witnesses. We have a significant amount of hearing time scheduled for tomorrow afternoon. The state's prepared to proceed on the motions and is objecting to the motion to continue the suppression hearings.
Thank you. Any additional argument from the defense?
Yes, Judge, defense would say that this is necessary for the defense, even if the court were to ask ex parte in terms of, to have ex parte hearing in terms of the basis for the motion. I don't believe at this point defense would be able to disclose that information even to the court, even if an ex parte hearing were requested and or granted. It's defense's position that this information is necessary to be explored in terms of, the presentation of the evidence or presentation of the case, because it's defense's position that at this time the information is confidential, which is why a witness list hasn't been disclosed. Discovery exhibits haven't been disclosed in regards to it because it's still being looked to and explored. As the state indicated, discovery is ongoing, and as discovery has continued to be ongoing, so has defense's preparation of the case, reviewing of the motions, filing of the motions, preparation of the motion, as well as in preparing this case otherwise for trial alongside the homicide case. So it's defense's position that the granting of the continuance in this case would not be an undue burden on the court. I understand the state having subpoenaed witnesses. The day that I found out about the information was the same day we actually happened to have depositions. So I spoke with the state in person about it, and then sent her an email in regards to her position. And then from there, filed the motion to continue. And then we got hearing times while I was in trial with Your Honor as another case, and I filed the notice of hearing as to that. Defense has been preparing, defense is preparing, and it's defense's position that denial of the motion to continue in this case would be an abuse of discretion, and we'd be asking the court to grant the requested continuance.
Thanks. Well, the court's in a difficult position evaluating the McKay factors. In this case, the court's going to find that there's been significant time to prepare for these hearings. This case initiated in February of 2024. Motion was filed almost a year later. The matter was set for a hearing in March. 13 months. I'll note that this is on 24 CF 632. While the two cases are related, this does not deal with the homicide case. The court has an inability to make a determination as to the likelihood of prejudice from the denial. The defense apparently is in possession of some information, the nature of that information, the timing of when it was received, whether the defendant played any role in shortening the preparation time. The availability of that discovery is unknown to the court because the defense is unwilling at this point to share any information with the court, even on an ex parte basis, as to this information. Counsel that has been appointed to this case has the requisite skill and experience to try this type of case. Both are either board certified criminal trial experts or in the process of becoming are being certified as a criminal trial expert. The court cannot, from the information presented, make a finding of a good cause. And while the defense argues it will be prejudicial, there's been nothing advanced to the court to support that argument. So the defense's motion to continue the motion to suppress tomorrow, scheduled for 2 p.m., is denied. And I'll ask the state to please have their witnesses present and ready to go.
No problem.
Thank you. Matter set for 3 hours tomorrow at 2 p.m. That will conclude our hearing.
Just in case anybody wanted to get a look at his ugly mug, that's it. I don't even have to use the Zoom for that man today. So today which we have a stream set up. We are going to, um, at 1 o'clock Central, which I know, right? Right, Hio? Ski down that nose. I know, this is an ugly, dirty pause. We're going to dirty pause Stephan Sterns for a minute while I talk. So we're going to watch some parole hearing, and at 1 Central, which is an hour and a half, I think, 2.5 hours. Hour and a half. I'm lost on my time, but we're going to watch some parole hearings this morning for a little while we're waiting. And I believe we're going to have a redirect to the actual stream, to the stream when it happens. And we'll redirect over there when it starts at 1 Central. So that's going to be Stephan Sterns. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to switch over. And here, let's just finish watching him walk out. There you go. There's a better picture of his ugly mug. I should have just let it play a little while longer. All right. Bye-bye, Stephan. See you today at 3 o'clock your time, 1 o'clock mine. All right. There's that. So let's switch over to this tab, and we're going to watch some parole hearings for a little bit. And hang on just a second. Let me refresh this. Just a second, guys. Okay. Y'all be sure. Let me know if y'all can hear me. Okay, guys? Give me just a minute. There's no sound. So let me take this out. Give me just a minute. There's no sound. So let me okay, hang on a second. Let me refresh this and fix this stream real quick. All right. Let's see. Yeah, I know. I had to switch it out. Okay, I think we got sound now.
Good morning. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? We can't hear you.
Hello?
All right, now we.
I can't hear them.
Can you hear me?
I'm sorry, sir. I can't even hear you.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Hold on. 1 second. The officer is about to get somebody to fix it. 1 second. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
All right, I can see it. I can see you shaking. He's shaking his head now. They can hear me.
Can he hear you?
All right, he said 1 second.
Can you hear
I can't
us?
hear anything.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay, that's your problem. Plug in the headset.
I have no clue. That's the sound there. They're all like just sitting there looking at each other. Can you hear me?
I think someone is coming. Excuse me, they can't hear me. They can hear me, but I can't hear them at all.
Nobody there, so I can't even.
Nah, they just went, they blanked out. It wasn't on. They have a guy right here. There they go.
Okay, can they hear you?
Can you still hear me?
I can still hear you.
Yeah, see, he can hear me.
Can you hear? Turn the volume up on your computer.
Okay. Is that 100?
Can you hear us now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. All right.
Okay.
All right. The
Thank
Committee
you.
on Parole, the Committee on Parole is called to order. Today's date is April 23rd, 2025, and the time is 9 a.m. My name is Danny Barra, serving as your chairman today. My colleagues today on the panel are Mr. Tillis to my left, Mr. Freeman to my right.
All right, how y'all doing?
The panel at DOC headquarters in Baton Rouge, headquarters staff, please introduce yourself for the record.
Whitney Trotsmeyer.
Francis Avenue. Today, our remote location is Franklin Parish Detention Center. Would the staff there at Franklin introduce yourselves for the record?
Deputy Mason Ryan.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, man.
Mr. Myers,
Yes, sir.
could you please introduce yourself, stating your full name and your DOC number?
My name is Jonathan Terrell Myers, and my DOC number is 524-486.
All right, I'm going to give you a brief explanation of the process. We're going to read some information to the record, ask you to verify it.
Yes,
We're going
sir.
to give you a chance to speak. We're going to ask the warden to give us some information about you. We're going to allow 3 people in support, 3 people in opposition, if they have that many. We're going to have the district attorney, and then we're going to conduct a parole interview.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, so let's begin. Today we have for parole consideration, Jonathan Myers, DOC number 524-486, who's a first felony offender who has been convicted of forcible rape and on May 29th, 2007, was sentenced to serve 20 years in Jefferson Parish Jail. Your parole eligibility date is March 24th of 13. Good time, you're not eligible for that. Your full term date is 7/27/26. That sounds correct to you, Mr. Myers?
Yes, sir, correct.
All right. So tell us why you think you deserve to be released today and what did you do to get yourself in this kind of trouble?
Well, basically, I fought through trials, and so I haven't got to respond. And throughout these years, I've just been a person that's been very productive. I kept work. I had steady work ethics. I joined college programs. Corona shut it down within months of being able to get a degree. But I'm a master barber. I have many trades. I'm very productive, and I'm a good, honest person. And I made bad decisions. And I know I was in a relationship, and it just didn't work the way that I thought it would have worked because she was older, I was younger, and the decisions that I made throughout life, it just jeopardized and put me in the position that I'm in today. But I always knew that I had to fight back and say that I have to remain innocent. And I fought hard. I fought in trial, and I lost. It was a non-unanimous jury, and I still haven't went back to court for that. But today I understand that they are victims in society, and I understand that greatly. And I know hurt people, and I just need another opportunity. I've been down for 19 years, and I have loved ones I lost, and I never attended any of their funerals. My grandmother's ill, and I just need this opportunity. I don't need another chance. I just need a chance to be able to prove that I could do it. I could do it again. I could be a productive citizen. I continue. I'm a trustee now. I have a job. Like I said, I cut the staff hair. I cut the inmates hair, and I've been doing it for quite some time. And I work hard. And I understand that Joanna was hurt. That's her name, Joanna Skinner. She was hurt. And I understand, I feel for her. And I'm not upset with her. I'm not in a position to be angry, because after all this time heals all wounds. And I hope she's not still upset that the situation that we've been through, because I knew she was hurt before I met her. And I was hurt, and we just had to work through it. And like I said, I made a lot of bad decisions, and I just wish that it didn't turn out the way that it turned out. But through time, I healed, and I hope she healed, because it's been a very long time. And I talk to my grandmother every day, and I tell her, I said, time heals all wounds, and they still love her. They still believe in us. I got a good family. I got strong family support. They may not be here today. It's because I've been denied so many times for reasons that I don't understand. I took the program, and I was kicked out the program because I was untimely transferred, and I have no control over that. And I participated in any sale, and they transferred me in 2017 to this facility. And I wrote numerous letters to the parole board that explained it, that I was transferred untimely and I was at the final stage of completing the program. And I did it because my family wanted me to take the program. And for years, I denied the program because I felt like I had to fight the court system and go back and forth, and I didn't feel fair. But I told her, I said, well, if y'all need me to do it, then I'll take it. And I took it, and I excelled, and I completed them. And then just one day, they just transferred me up, and I tried to get back in the program, and they wouldn't put me back in the program because of the facility that I went to. They didn't offer it. And for years, even when I was transferred to Natchitoches to take the college program, the Aspen University program, I asked did they have the BETG, I think that's called of it. I asked them did they have the program so I could continue, so I could be able to obtain the parole. And in 19, I asked them, what they said they didn't offer it. So then I received a letter from the parole board, and they stated that I was denied because I needed rehabilitation skills more, and I needed reprogramming. But I was completing the program. I just was transferred, and I was trying to get them to understand that I tried, and I got shipped. And well, I was, like I said, I was denied, and for years I have been trying, and I wrote letters, numerous. I'm pretty sure y'all have it on file. I wrote numerous letters, and I didn't get the response that I needed because I was never transferred or put back in the program. So I took the college program. I kept work. I always had work. And then Corona came during the time that I was in the college program, and they shut the program down from Natchitoches, and they shut it down. So now they just kicked me out the program and shipped me back up here. And I was within months of receiving my associate degree. But like I said, I have many trades. And I work and I cut the officers here. I built a relationship with the officers here because they're good people and they understand us. And they treat us like human beings, and that's what I needed. I didn't want to be no monster. I didn't want to be treated as a monster. I wanted to be treated as a man, because even though I made a bad decision in life, I still wanted to be a man, and they brought that back to me. And they showed me, the wardens, the staff, they showed me. I never had an incident with any of these officers. And I said I wanted to be, they made a difference in just the years that I was here. They made and I made a turnaround. And like I kept work, and they gave me an opportunity. These were the only ones that wanted to give me an opportunity, because everywhere I went, I've had to fight to get a job. And once I got the job, I stayed there. I worked hard. I never got a bad review from work ethics. I always worked hard, and everybody knew me. Everybody know, and I'm a mentor, and I teach people. I said, you don't have to. They got younger guys that's here now, and they make mistakes and they make bad decisions. And I show them that you have to be better than that. You have to be better than what the system. The system is broken, and it can be fixed, but we have to fix it. And we need to help each other. And I help whites, blacks. I help all. It may not be documented, but I have saved lives. I have changed lives. I have mentored kids. I have helped people get educations. But like I said, it might not never be documented, but it was done. Honestly, it was done. And any officer here, you can contact anyone that tell you the same. I have changed. I am a better person. I am a stronger person. I have morals, and I have respect. And I understand, like I said, I understand there are many victims out there that in society, and I understand them. And I've met victims in jail it seemed like the system then weaponized it to the point where we, even as the accused, become victims. And I understand that as well. And I've seen many inmates that become victims to the system. And I try to change it. I just try to do as much as I can. Y'all not here with me every day, and I understand that. And I know y'all have a job to do, and I respect that. But I have changed, and I promise you, you give me the opportunity, I will show you, not only tell you, I will show you that I can be a productive citizen, no matter what the charge is. I'm gonna still be the person that I am. I have not changed. I am not a monster. I'm not. I'm just a person that I want to be respected. I want to be a person known for change. I want to be a person that's known for help. And that's what I tried. When I met Joanna, she told me she was hurt. And in the beginning, I wanted to be there for her and her kids. And I helped her. And she can even tell you herself, I was there, Katrina and all. It's just that we fell on bad terms. It just didn't work out like I thought it was. And that's relationships. I've been in prison for a relationship because I was in my very first interracial relationship. I had never been with a white female before. And I was learning, not saying I'm not trying to justify what she said might have happened. I'm just saying that I have never been in that experience. And we went through racism together. And I still fought. And I still stayed with her. But it didn't work. It didn't work. I tried. And she tried. She tried to work. Even when I tried to give up and said, nah, I can't do it no more. And I didn't have any kids. And I had to be a father to her kids. And I was there for them. And she can explain that to you as well. I was there. I was a good person. And I'm still that great person that I'm going to be once I be released. And I have to do whatever I have to do. Whatever I have to do to prove to y'all will see. I promise you. I keep my word. And I will show you that I'm that person that need to be there. Many people have came to prison and didn't get the opportunity to show you that they could do better. I want to do better. I want to open up businesses. I want to be able to get this expunged off my record so I could be able to show my family, if I decide to have kids later on in life, to show them that, man, your father went through this. I never had kids, but I had a lot of stepkids. And I love them, and I still love her kids. And I would never do any harm to her, I promise. And to be honest, I would appreciate that y'all be able to monitor whatever I have to do because I don't never want to come back to jail, ever in life. So if I have somebody to monitor me, at least I know I'm safe because I have a target on my back. Now, when I get home, I have to do this and do that and have to register. I understand it, but I'm willing to do this for my family. I have to do it because they need me. My grandmother just was telling me about I have to fix her roof because my brother too large to fix it. He's 325 pounds. So she need me there and I need her. And she been here for 19 years and she didn't break. And my mom, I need it. I deserve it. I promise you, I deserve it. Just look at the records and see, look at the letters that I wrote, and you will see that I deserve it. It was a missed opportunity. They didn't catch it. I just asked them to see it. And I tried every chance I got to get a certificate. I mailed it to you all. Every chance that I got to write a letter to tell them that I wasn't getting the fair treatment, to being able to be placed back in a program that I didn't want to attend.
All right, you're going back to the same.
All right.
We all understand the problem.
All right, I understand. I'm sorry. And I tried as much as I can do. And I'm still trying. And I spoke to the head warden at this facility, and I cut his brother hair all the time. And he said, man, you have to believe in yourself. And for me to make it. And I believe. And I know I can do it. And I will do it. I'm gonna be that example. I'm gonna be to show the system that recidivism won't lie with me. I'm gonna stay out there. And I guess that's about it.
That was a lot. That was a lot. Sounds good too. Thank you.
Thank you all.
I noticed that we don't have any attorney representing you today, so we're going to move on to the warden or staff member there to tell us what they have to say about your behavior in prison and verify any of those.
Well, I only have Mr. Mason right here. I know him from working pad. I didn't know that the warden had to be here. I'm sorry.
He doesn't have to be there. Can Mr. Mason give us any insight about
you need me to move?
Prison? You don't have to move.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
We can see you, Mr. Mason.
All right.
Yes, sir. My name is Deputy Mason Wright. I work on a different shift. I'm sitting in today for a field position, and I do not usually work on this shift. I usually work opposite of Mr. Myers here.
Okay.
And I don't know him too well, but I do know that he is a good dude and he does a good job cutting hair. And as long as I've been here, which is 2 years, he's been very productive, never doing anything bad, never causing any kind of problems, unlike other inmates. But if you would like for me to go grab someone who is on this shift and who does work here and knows him, I can, absolutely.
No, you're fine. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss. Yes, sir.
Okay, today we have one person to testify in opposition, which is the victim of the case. And you tell us what you got to say.
I'd like to read from my daughter before I talk to you, please. I am Alexis, Joanna's daughter, and an indirect victim of Jonathan Myers, who I came to know as Rock. When I found out that Rock might be released, all the trauma this man has caused flooded back in, and I cried. All over again, I feared not only the life of my mother, but the lives he may impact in the future. My mom tried to get away from this man on several occasions leading up to the crime that got him convicted. Before ending their relationship, I watched him throw my brother and I's TVs that he bought for us months prior in a rage across the hall, smashed it to pieces while arguing. My brother was about 4 years old and present. He was terrified. I was terrified. I remember that day vividly. After another fight, he showed up, pushed his way in the front door, and threw my mother to the ground, ultimately breaking her arm. As a 9-10-year-old hearing her mother screaming, I tried to find out what I could and hid it behind my back, ready to defend my mother. I saw her crying on the floor and him standing over her. She told me she would be okay and go to my room. My brother and I sat with her all night in the hospital. For months following, he stalked my mother. We would come home and he had broken in. Sometimes we would catch him hiding behind things in the house. We feared even sleeping at night. Home was not a safe place for us. Why would I feel safe? He said on several occasions when he raged that if he ever called the cops, if she ever called the cops, he would kill her. And he showed me his gun in his room, and we believed that he would. Ultimately, his terror over our house ended with him brutally raping my mother at night with her children sleeping, being threatened for her murder in front of us if she screamed. You can imagine how that traumatic event affected my mother and long-term affected us. I fear for her safety and the safety of future women. Anything less than the full 20 years is irrefutably unsatisfactory, not a moment earlier. I pray that he has asked the Lord's forgiveness because I have not forgiven him. And I pray that when his inevitable release comes, that he does the right thing and leaves us alone. I pray he never harms another woman, another child, another family. 20 years is not enough for the inhumane crimes he committed against my family. What I had to go through as a young child, no child should have to go through. I was in a relationship with him and I ended it. And he stalked me for 6 months. I found him in my house multiple times. Called the police. He broke into my house, dragged me down the hall by my hair, and he raped and sodomized me. And told me he would kill me if I screamed and woke up my children. And then after everything was over, he made me shower to try to wipe off the evidence. And then he left like nothing ever happened. He's never admitted what he's done. He's never taken accountability for his actions. Clearly, he has never done any of the programs that a sex offender should do. I just don't feel like I would be safe if he got out. I know eventually he's going to be out, but I don't feel safe at all. I've felt safe for the last 19 years with him. That's all.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. We have law enforcement comments to put on the record, which we have The judge is opposed. The district attorney's office is going to speak shortly. The sheriff is opposed. And the attorney general's office is opposed. So now would be the time for Mr. Randall Myers with the district attorney's office to let us know what he has to say about this case.
Good morning, Randall Myers, Assistant DA, Jefferson Parish. We are strongly opposed to his request for parole. Mr. Myers said a lot, and my take on his statements show that he has not accepted the fact that he committed a crime. He's got no remorse for the crime that he committed. Listening between the lines, it seems to me that he thinks because he was in a relationship with the victim that he couldn't rape her. But the fact of the matter is he raped her on numerous occasions. Prior to that, he beat her. He's a violent individual who needs to remain in jail for the entirety of his sentence. In the 9 years prior, the first 9 years of his incarceration, took no programs. After 17, after that in 2017, I believe it is, he began taking some programs, and he took one anger management course, 100 hours, and living in balance 1 and 2. Don't see any sex offender treatment that he has completed, although the annual assessment says that he is enrolled in sex offender treatment. Annual assessment also states that he has not completed a 12-step program, although he did complete substance abuse with the living in balance program. So with the very, very strong victim opposition, the violent nature of Mr. Myers, his lack of remorse, and his failure to accept what he has done, we are strongly opposed to his release.
Thank you, Mr. Myers. All right, your case has been assigned to Board Member Freeman, who's going to cast the first vote and begin your interview. So we'll start with the interview.
Okay, good morning, Mr. Myers. Mr. Myers, let's get to the heart of it. Why haven't we taken sex offender classes?
I have participated. I took the program in 2016, and as I was taking the program, and I was in it within for a year. I've completed 3 phases of it. And the final phase, I was transferred September of 2017, while I was still in the program, to a facility that didn't offer the program. And I wrote numerous letters to your board stating that I was transferred untimely while I was participating in the program. And once after being here for 2 years, I was transferred to the Natchez prison to take the college program. And I excelled in that. I made the dean list. I excelled. And I was kicked out of that because of the corona outbreak in March of 2020, because the program was canceled.
Right. Where did you take that sex offender treatment at?
In Rayburn facility. I was at the Rayburn, the BB60 Rayburn.
Okay, because we have no verification that you've taken any substance abuse.
I finished 3 phases. I sent the certificates. It's on file. I sent all 3 certificates to your facility. 2016, and the last.
I'm looking at your certificates, and we got, like Mr. Myers said, we have living in balance in 2016, phase 1, phase 2 in 2017, anger management 2016. There's no mention of any sex offender treatment in the record.
I took it. It was the BETG program. I finished 3 of the 4 phases.
That's 4 phases, so we're gonna have to try to look into that.
Thank you, man. It's there. It's there. I sent the certificates.
Okay. So what did you learn from victim awareness? Did you take victim awareness? I see you had a little bit of it in your 100 hours.
Yes, sir. I took re-entry as well. I completed re-entry and victim awareness. I learned a lot about different victims, the outcome, the hurt that it does to family members. I learned the hurt that it could be on both sides, the accused as well as the victims.
Okay. Where do you plan to live and work if you get out?
My grandmother has a house that's in Wagaman, Louisiana. And which work, I have many trades and I have excellent work history. If someone willing to hire me, I'll be willing to work anywhere, wherever, to make sure I'll be able to pay whatever fees I have to pay or whatever I have to do.
Well, did you ever take drugs or use drugs?
No, no, sir. I'm not a drug addict.
Okay, were you a big drinker or not?
No, sir.
Okay. Did you ever get sent to Steve Hoyle?
Steve Hart, sir? I couldn't hear you say
Hall.
Steve. No,
You never went to Steve Hall?
No, sir. I just took most of my certificates came from Rayburn facility, the old WCI.
And I also noticed that on your static 99, you scored a 2, which is a moderate risk. So I want to note that for the record. And I have no further questions.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. I heard you say earlier that that you were innocent.
Yes, sir.
Could you explain that to me, Mr. Myers?
Yes, sir. And when I actually had 2 trials. I was acquitted of second-degree battery in Jefferson Parish with a judge by the name of Judge Bench. I had a jury trial. And the first trial I was acquitted, but I also had the other charge, the forcible rape charge. But when I went to trial for the forcible rape charge, they took away my defense. The judge, she was found guilty on corrupt charges, Judge Bench. And she took away the fundamental mechanism to be able to win the trial. And I was not I don't want to get on the racist kick, but I had an all-white jury. And I only had 1 black juror that voted to acquit, which made it non-unanimous. And
okay, that's good. That's good.
Yes, sir.
What I'm asking you is, did you do what you were charged with?
No, sir. No, sir. And I proved it in trial. And I proved it. It just, I didn't have a fair chance. It wasn't a fair and impartial trial. And I fought. And I understand we did have a toxic relationship. I understand that. And and I admitted to that. Anything that I have done, I have admitted to it. But I can't sit back and accept that. I can't accept a forcible rape charge when I know I didn't. And I understand that she may be hurting. And like, I think that was Alexis. Alexis said, we have been in times where that it was just toxic. And I was still young and I admitted to that. And I explained that to Alexis because it just wasn't on my part. It was on both our parts because we was just in a bad relationship. She had just divorced her husband. Her husband had just molested his daughter and his niece, and I was there to fight for them. And I said, man, I can't do it. It was too much pressure on me. It was too much. Like I said, I didn't have kids, but I treated Alexis and LG, her kids, fairly. And I loved them. And they know that. They know that. And I understand they have to protect their mom. And I can see that. I have a mother. And I do whatever my mom needs me to do to protect her. And I understand that. And I am remorseful because I have met true victims. And I understand that Joanna been hurt. I know Joanna been hurt. And she explained it to me. And I accept it because in the beginning.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
I have no more questions.
I see Mr. Myers was shaking his head during some of his testimony. Can you add to, or you have anything you wanted to add to what he just said about the trial?
You know, the only thing, I mean, he was tried and convicted of the offense. The only thing really is that he made a comment of Judge Ben's being removed from the bench, and it kind of sounded like related to his charge. She was removed from the bench, but it had nothing to do with anything related to his charge.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have no questions. Are you ready to vote?
I'd like to go into executive session.
I'll second.
We have a motion for executive session in a second.
Mr. Tillis,
Yes.
Mr. Barra,
Yes.
Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
We're gonna go into executive session. We'll be back shortly.
All right, thank you very much. What I have to do? Oh, man, they not even understanding.
I am, sissy. I am. I'm living my best life. To hell with all of them. Just saying, you know what? This last 5 years has been an experience for me, but that's neither here nor there. I'm happy, and that's all we need in our life. So let's fast forward and get on to, let's see where they come back.
Finished with executive session, and we're back into the hearing, and the board is ready to vote. Do I have to have a roll call? Come out.
Mr. Tillis?
Yes.
Mr. Varro?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman?
Yes.
All right, the board is now ready to vote. We'll begin with Mr. Freeman, who was assigned the case.
Okay, Mr. Myers, you say you took the sex offender classes. I see where you were denied before for not taking them. On our records, it says you're enrolled now, which obviously you're not. Until I see those sex offender classes, today before that, I was thinking about, I wanted you on supervision so we could keep you away from the victim. And the probation officers would be watching you and making sure you did everything. But until you finish those classes, I can't vote for you today. So my vote is to deny.
Mr. Tillis?
I concur with Mr. Freeman.
And I'm going to concur with Mr. Freeman, but I'm going to also make a recommendation that they move you from where you're at to a place where you can complete the sex offender classes. And then once you do that, you will shorten your time up a little bit with the credit. No, you won't. No, you won't shorten your time, but you do need to take the class. So as far as today goes, today your parole has been denied. And this is going to conclude our business at Franklin Parish Detention Center. Thank you.
All right. Denied. Good. Sorry. I don't think you need to be let out. Yeah, like exactly, sissy. Like he's going to be any different after he takes those classes. Get a grip because, I'm just, I have nothing to say. Exactly, sissy. All right, let's go on to this next one. And while this next one gets started, let's see. I wish I knew how to make this thing fast forward. Just a little touchies.
Parole is called to order.
All right.
Today's date is April 23rd.
Okay, I'm sorry, but I just have to point out, look at this man's face in the top left-hand corner. He looks a little bit disgusted or something. Maybe he needs to go potty. I don't know. All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay, we're going to play this. I'm going to run and refill my coffee real quick while this is playing.
2025, and the time is 9:46 a.m. Can you hear us?
Yes, sir.
Right. My name is Danny Barra, serving as your chairman today, and my colleagues on today's panel are Mr. Tillis to my left and Mr. Freeman to my right. The panel is at headquarters in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Would the staff please introduce yourself?
We need Chancellor. She can't correct.
Today, our remote location is Richland Parish Detention Center. Would the staff at Richland please introduce yourself for the record?
It's LSP. Is that Angola?
Louisiana State. Oh, you at Angola?
Yeah. LSP.
Okay, our remote location is Louisiana State Penitentiary at Angola. Would the staff there please introduce themselves? Can you hear us? Can you hear us? Can't hear us, see. Well, maybe they didn't hear me mess up. Can
you hear us now? Can you hear us?
Oh, Richland
We're
Parish.
on the phone. They can hear us. We can hear them.
Okay, y'all can hear us. We can't hear you. Okay.
can't hear him. I need some help. Okay.
They're fine. We're fine. They is something over. We're Angola, we're good.
All right. Today, our remote location is Louisiana State Penitentiary. Can you hear us there?
You can't hear them.
Today, our remote location is Louisiana State
You can't
Penitentiary.
hear them.
Can you hear us?
They're having problems at Angola.
Okay, I'm going to fast forward it to where the court comes back because this was awkward silence. It's going on too long. Here we go. Here's the court back. Okay, I'm going to fast forward it to where the court comes back. Turn my phone back down. I'm back at the computer.
Can you hear us now?
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right.
Sorry about the inconvenience.
No problem. No problem. Today, our remote location is Louisiana State Penitentiary. Would the staff at LSP please introduce yourself for the record?
Yes, sir. Good morning. I'm Darrell Vanoy. I'm the warden.
Reginald Lattimore, classification.
Carmen Shipley, inmate records. Jody Sturgeon, program consultant.
That's all.
Thank you. Mr. Cox, would you
Yes, sir.
please introduce yourself by stating your full name and DOC number for the record? Oh,
My name is Vernon Leon Cox, DOC 86813.
all right. I'm gonna give you a brief summary of the process. Today, I'm gonna read you some information, ask you to verify it. We're gonna give you a chance to speak and tell us what caused your incarceration and why you think you should get out. We're gonna ask the warden a couple of questions. We're gonna allow the public comments. We're gonna ask the district attorney comment. We're gonna give your attorney a chance to speak. And so let's begin. Today we have for parole consideration Vernon Cox, DOC number 86813, who's a 6th felony offender who was convicted of 2nd-degree murder at a trial by jury and sentenced to life. He appealed that sentence and was resentenced to 35 years for manslaughter in Natchitoches Parish. Your parole eligibility date is August 1st, 21. You're not eligible for good time, and your full term date is November 15th, 2034. Does that sound correct to you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Well, now we're going to ask you to tell us, what did you do to get yourself in trouble, and what did you do since to convince us that you deserve a release?
I got myself in trouble. My ex-wife asked me to kill her husband. I was living in Houston, Texas during the time when she brought my kids to see me, and I told her no. By October of '99, I was living in Natchitoches, Louisiana. Around about a couple of days before Halloween, I seen her at a service station. And I seen the car, so I went over and tapped on the window. When she turned, I seen she was beaten pretty bad. And I asked her who did it, and she said her husband. And she said, she asked me again would I kill him, her husband. That's when I told her to set up a hunting trip for squirrel seasons, which was in November. And I went in the woods, and that's why I killed Mr. Seitz.
Okay. And what have you done since then that you think you should be granted your release?
But since then, I have went through programs and such as cleansing screen, such as NAACA, anger managed victim impact, TPUCO, and thinking for a change, and substance abuse.
Anything else you want to say? This is your chance.
Yes. Once again, I'm here to ask for the board for mercy for taking the life of Mr. William Seitz, and Mr. William Seitz did not deserve to die. And I just pray and ask the family for forgiveness, and I ask the board for mercy.
Gotcha. All right. You have an attorney representing you, Mr. Dodge. Do you want to speak now, or you want to speak later?
I can speak now, sir.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, I'm William Dice up here in Natchitoches, Louisiana, and I represent Mr. Vernon Cox. His family members are here. His sister works for me, and his other sister works for me also. Good people, solid people. They live here in Natchitoches, and he has a place to live. One of the things I think the board needs to know that he is was a Marine. He successfully completed service in the United States of America, and he has undergone a number of classes. He shows his remorse. He has been through the reentry program. He's certification of completion. He has no write-ups. He has he has completed all things, no, as I said, no write-ups, and he wants to get out and be a good citizen. We have him a job at Johnny's Seafood. He can work in the kitchen, work wherever they say. And we also have him a place to live with his two sisters here in Natchitoches. We had a hearing 2 or 3 years ago, and they basically said, we want to grant you parole, but you have to go through the reentry program. So what is also, board, what is also very important to know is he has prostate cancer. He has prostate cancer. And from all indications, and those documents are in the medical records are in your record. It appears from reading the medical that the next thing they're going to do is an MRI. And according to the prostate cancer, so far, Gleason, that there's an immediate risk for spread of the cancer growing and spreading. So here we have, what happened is wrong. We get it. But he has completed all these programs. He has no write-ups. He has family support. His sister is here to testify, if you will allow her to testify. Her name is Olivia Hardison. He's been in jail a long time. He's 67 years old, and he's got prostate cancer, and he wants to come home and be with his family. So having said all that, parole, of course, would be where he would be monitored by local probation and parole. There's a number, we have sent all this to the board. There's all these programs he's gone through. He has no write-ups, and of course, he's good. He had an award of Good Conduct Medal after serving in the United States Marine Corps. So yes, we get the negative. We get what happened, and he wants a chance to be at home with his family. He wants to be able to work, and he of course would be, we believe, a good citizen and would not pose. And I get your job. He would not pose a danger to society. And he also has hepatitis. He has liver damage. And he has a hematologist request to see a doctor. In fact, they've been taking him down to LSU in New Orleans for these tests. And he also has PST breathing treatments. So we got an elderly guy, 67 years old. I mean, I'm 70, but he's 67. And he will request that y'all give him opportunity to come home under whatever rules and guidelines you would require him to abide by. I basically, this little seafood place is right down the street. I basically said, Vernon, you get out, you're going to have to go to work, behave yourself, report, and do whatever you need, and live there with your sisters on Old Robeline Road here in Natchitoches. So I'll take any questions from the board if you have any.
No, sir. Nope. Thank you, Mr. Donner.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll next hear from Elvina Hardison, assistant.
Okay.
Go ahead. You're on mute.
Can't hear you.
Uh-oh. She tried to unmute and she dropped herself. I guess she's going to come back.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm glad I've been given this opportunity to speak on behalf of my brother. My name is Olivia Hardison, and I was 35 years old when Vernon was taken into custody in 1999 and later sentenced. I'm now 60, and I'm speaking instead of my siblings and in honor of our late parents, Mary Lee Cox, our mother, and Al J. Cox, our father, or as my dad would say, the block. My parents, they were known in the community as servants and good people. Our father, he was a good Samaritan, helping people in spite of their race, young and old, and we still live in that legacy here today in the community. They prayed over this situation up until they left this world, and now we've been given that mantle to continue to pray. We know Vernon has been incarcerated for 25 years for this crime that he was a part of. And I know through all the seasons that he has been in, he didn't run from this, but he has acknowledged what he's done and the weight that was carried. I've seen a change in his life. Not only has this change impacted him, but it impacted those that were serving and doing time around him at the same time as he. And even from the last parole hearing that was in 2022, where the board decided not to release him because he had not completed rehabilitation and transitional programs to prepare him for reentry. But this didn't stop him. This didn't break him, but it made him become intentional. He took the parole board's words seriously, and people were put in place to help him complete the internal and external steps that was needed to grow him. He's taken his classes, he sought additional counseling, and most of all, he was determined and committed to become better, not bitter, because he was denied during that time. You know, there's a quote by Michelangelo that says, every block of stone has a statue in it, inside it, and it is the task of the sculptor to discover it. This has been Vernon's journey. These past 25 years, life has chipped away at the stony part of who he is, and he's faced this through discipline, sorrow, truth, and yes, grace. So what you see now, the man you see now, is no longer just that man who made those wrong choices, but he's a man that is now purposed and driven. And yes, he's facing recent medical issues. Now, he's not seeking to be free just for himself, but we've talked about him creating a platform for him to give back and become a leader amongst those young and at risk that lives in Natchitoches, that he will be able to identify with his story. See, he can reach some young men that are standing on that same ledge where he once stood. And he wants to be able to use what he's been through to help guide them, from keeping them from losing themselves and becoming a mentor so they can have something to build a foundation for their future on. We're not here to forget the past, but we believe that what Vernon is now asking, he's not walking away from accountability, but he's asking to walk into his purpose. So today we're asking this board not only to see Vernon's past, but to see his present. Yes, he has to deal with his medical issues, but the man that you're seeing now has been revealed through years of chiseling, what he's come through. And my father, as he called himself, was the block, but now Vernon has become a chip off the block. And I'm pretty sure as he goes forth, he will continue to walk in his father's legacy to help and assist the community. So we respectfully ask for this board to show mercy, not dismiss injustice, but to extend grace to a man that has been reshaped. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your service. And we pray that through your decisions with clarity, discernment, and compassion, that you will make your decision.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next, we're gonna ask Warden Bernard if he can tell us about his behavior there at LSP. And
Yes,
any-
sir. He hasn't been with us very long. He's here with us basically because he has some significant medical conditions, issues going on with him, but he is a trustee. His last write-up was in 2016, so it's been 9 years since he had a write-up. He's had programming Kairos, 100 hours, victim impact, TOPUCU, I don't know what that is, AA and NA, Thinking for a Change, and Cage Your Age, and his Tiger is Low. He's a trustee that works over at Camp C out of Bear Unit for us. Kind of he's in a medical dorm, but he works every day. No problems. Very polite. That's all I have.
All right, thank you, Warden. Sorry to cut you off, but you were done.
That's okay.
All right. We also have several people in opposition. We have Alice Hardison, the victim coordinator for the 10th Judicial District, who's opposed and on Zoom, not speaking. We have Betty Turner, a victim in a family victim member, on opposed, not speaking, on Zoom. Lorraine Flagg, a family member, opposed, on Zoom, not speaking. Celia Sneed, a family member, opposed, not speaking, on Zoom. Joyce Edwards, family member, opposed, not speaking, on Zoom. Michael Sneed, victim's nephew, opposed, on Zoom, not speaking. And William Clyde Sneed, victim's nephew, opposed, on Zoom, not speaking. We also have two people that will be speaking. The first is Mr. Billy Harrington with the 10th Judicial District Attorney's Office. He is opposed and speaking. Can we go to Mr. Harrison now? Harrington.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Good morning. My office, as you know, and as you saw in my office, is strongly opposed to Mr. Cox's parole. Even though he pled guilty to manslaughter, he was originally convicted to degree. That was reversed naturally and then pled to manslaughter. So the facts of this case warranted originally a second degree conviction. And this was a premeditated. I understand Mr. Cox, says he was asked to do this, but that's no excuse. And we support our family in this matter. My office stands behind the family and strongly object to his release.
Thank you very much. We also have a victim's family member who's in the panel there. Ms. Rose Hackey, would you speak? Tell us what you got to say about the release.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, first I would like to give honor to God for carrying us through all of this. My name is Rosie Williams Hackett, the niece of the late William Sykes. I come before you today with a heavy heart and a resolute purpose. I'm not just a family member of the victim, but as a voice for justice. My uncle was a kind and gentle soul who had lived a life full of love, wisdom, and service to those around him. His life was taken in an act of violence that not only robbed him of the remaining years, but also left an inevitable scar on our family and the community. My family and I are here to oppose the parole of Vernon Cox, the man who brutally murdered my 79-year-old uncle. This was not just a crime, it was an act of imaginable cruelty. My uncle was shot at close range in the back of the head. His body was discarded and left in the woods as if his life held no value. He was left to rot. He was stripped of his dignity and robbed of the peaceful years he had earned. The man who committed this crime made a choice to disregard the sanctity of life, to inflict pain, and to shatter the peace of the elderly man who posed no threat. This was not an accident or a moment of weakness. It was a deliberate act that cannot be undone. Vernon Cox has a history of criminal behavior marked by repeated incarceration and ongoing drug use. His actions have shown a pattern of disregard for the law, for human life, and for the safety of our community. Granting him parole will not only dishonor the memory of my uncle, but also endanger others. Granting parole to this individual would send a message that such an action can be forgiven or overlooked with time. It would determine the gravity of the crime and the value of my uncle's life. It would also place our community at risk, as the action of this individual have shown a blatant disregard for human life. The crime was not a momentary lapse in judgment. It was a deliberate and heinous act. My uncle was an elderly man, vulnerable and defenseless, and yet he was subject to violence that no one should ever endure. The pain and trauma inflicted on our family are immeasurable, and the thought of Vernon Cox walking free is a burden we cannot bear. Justice demands accountability. It demands that those who commit such atrocities face the full consequences of their actions. To release Vernon Cox would be to undermine the very principle of justice and to disregard the suffering he has caused. I urge the court to deny parole and to ensure that Vernon Cox remain incarcerated. This is not just about punishment. It is about protecting our community and honoring the life of a man who deserved so much better. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. We also have strong law enforcement opposition, as you heard from the DA is opposed. The judge in this case is also opposed. The sheriff's office in this parish is also opposed, and the attorney general's office is also opposed. So there's strong law enforcement opposition to this release. Mr. Tillis has been assigned this case, so he's going to begin an interview and ask the first question.
Good morning, Mr. Cox. How are you?
Good morning.
You answered a lot of my questions in your statement, and I commend you for all of the programs and stuff that you've gone through, and your service to the country. And I hope that you continue doing well at your time. But I have no more questions.
I have a few. Okay, Mr. Cox, so you went to Houston. She came to Houston with your kids, correct?
Yes, sir.
Did y'all rekindle y'all relationship at that time?
No, sir.
I thought y'all rekindled.
No, sir.
Okay.
I never rekindled with her.
Okay, because I know she came down there and asked you to go kill her husband, and other family members also said she had come ask you to do that. Okay, weren't you previously married to the victim?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And how many children y'all had together?
3 altogether. 1 died.
All right. And whose gun did you shoot him with?
My girlfriend gun.
Okay, who got the gun?
girl I
You
was
got the
staying
gun or
with.
she gave you the gun?
I got the gun.
Okay, who's your girlfriend?
During that time was Joanne Williams.
So you got a gun from the lady you were dating to go shoot your ex-wife's husband?
I didn't understand what you say, sir.
So you got a gun from the girl you were dating to go shoot your ex-wife's husband?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I'm looking at your criminal history. You're a 6th felony offender. I see you had an armed robbery, which you did 5 years for. You got charged with possession of a firearm after that. But then I also see that you had an aggravated robbery in Texas. What was that about?
I went to trial and found not guilty.
Okay. But what they alleged you had done?
Sir?
What did they have alleged you had done? What they were saying you done?
But they used my past and said I had committed a robbery, which I didn't. I was in Natchitoches on that day.
Okay. Okay, I have no further question.
I just have one question. What programs
Yes,
have you
sir.
completed since the last hearing on June 24th? What programs did you complete
June
after that hearing?
Right now, I'm still in, I'm in, substance abuse. I retook substance abuse with it, the class I'm taking right now.
So you have not completed any new programs since that hearing? Completed.
Just got here, I just got here, in, February. And I took all the classes I could take where I was at.
Okay.
You said earlier you went through Kairos Ministry.
Yes, sir.
You did.
Kairos and Cleansing School. Yes, sir.
Kairos,
Kairos and Cleansing School.
Okay, where did you take where did you go through Kairos at? In Angola?
At Winfield. At Winfield.
That's good. That's good. I have no more questions.
All right. With no more questions, it's now time to vote. We'll begin with Mr. Tillis, who's assigned the case with the first vote.
Mr. Cox, I see the remorsefulness in you, and I'm glad you've taken a lot of classes, and especially you've gone through Kairos. And if you remember, the choices we make are the choices that we have to live with.
Yes, sir.
My vote today is going to be to deny because a life was taken, and in a heinous way, in my opinion. But I don't think you've served enough time, and my vote's to deny today.
Mr. Freeman?
Okay, Mr. Cox, you know, you already received a big break. You were charged with second-degree murder, you were granted a new trial, and you pled guilty. You didn't even go to trial, so you pled, so you knew what time you were given. So, with your extensive criminal history, law enforcement, and victim opposition, my vote is to deny.
And I'm going to concur with both Mr. Tillis and Mr. Freeman for the same reasons and vote to deny parole request today. And this will conclude our business at Louisiana State Penitentiary. Thank you. 1024-8.
Okay, I agree with that, Maria. Exactly. Women can be very dangerous and they can cause a lot of turmoil. I can tell y'all if mental health is involved, it can be even worse. So, yeah, that's just me saying that. So, here we go again. On to the next one. Let's see what we got next.
Jackson Parish, can you hear me?
Feel safe now.
There we go.
Hello?
Yes, can you hear us?
Yes, sir.
All right. The Committee on Parole is called to order. Today's date is April 23rd, 25, and the time is 10:35 a.m. Our remote location today is Jackson Parish Jail. Would the staff at Jackson Parish Jail please introduce themselves for the record?
Deputy Betty Pulig.
Thank you. Mr. Celestine, would you please introduce yourself for the record, stating your full name and DOC number?
My name is Troy Celestine, 457595, sir.
All right. Today we have for parole consideration Troy Celestine, DOC number 457595, who's a 7th felony offender who was convicted of contraband, 3 counts, violation, unauthorized use of a movable, habitual offender, possession of cocaine, 4th offense, and possession of cocaine. And was sentenced to serve a maximum of 26 years and 6 months. Your parole eligibility date is 3/22/15, which is passed. Your good term date is 6/21/30, and your full term date is 2/17/35. Does that information sound correct to you?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, now I'm gonna ask you the first question, and that is, what did you do to get yourself over there, and why do you think now's a good time for the parole board to decide to let you go?
What I do to get myself to Jackson Parish, sir?
Oh, to get yourself involved in all this trouble.
Well, sir, when I was a child, I reasoned as a child. You know, and I grew up and I became an adult once. I have been locked up 16 years, sir.
Okay. So is there anything else you want to tell us about that?
Well, sir, with all due respect, I just learned from my mistakes and I take it one day at a time, sir.
Okay. How about Jackson Parish? Do y'all have any comments or anything you would like to add to this about his behavior or anything down there? How's he doing?
No, sir, he has had no incidents or no disciplinary while he's been here.
All right.
How long has he been there, ma'am?
I'll be right back. Let me get his exact.
Oh, you proceed. I'll just give it. How long have you been in that area, in that prison?
I've been here, it's going on 5 months, sir. 5.5 months, or 5 months.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Okay.
6 months.
6 months.
Right at 6 months, sir.
Thank
All
you,
right,
ma'am.
Thank you. All right. So today we have in support of you, we have some people here that want to talk and some people who don't want to talk. We have Anthea George, hopefully I got that right, here, your mother at headquarters, who is in favor of your release, but not speaking. Cornavia Celestine, which is your daughter, who's in support of your release, but not going to speak. And Octavia Celestine, a cousin, who's in support and not going to speak. And we have Derek Celestine, an uncle, who is in support and will speak. So we would ask Derek to go to the podium and what he's got to tell us about Troy. Good morning.
It's been a long journey for him, and I myself, I don't even know where to start even explaining about his release. At the end of the day, will be the decision made with y'all. My nephew he was a bad person too. I've done a lot of things, and over the years, he would call my phone. And over the years, he would ask me to be able to help him with this, help him with that. But through conversation, I would never do. I would just send money to his mother just to help him out in commissary, because I knew me getting a lawyer to help him. Well, I have my own business, and I have 2 companies, and but I get to that later. I knew helping him get a lawyer and me listening to him over the phone, it wasn't clicking to him that he was ready to come out. And so what I would do is I would send money to his mom for his commissary. And as the years passed, another 10 years, I would listen to him. And then finally, about 2 years ago, he got my attention when he called. And he said, "Uncle Derek," he said, "Todd," he said, "anything." I said, "Just help me." It touched me because I've been here before. Being rehabilitated, I'm a man that have been, and I'm a very successful man, married man with my wife and children. And I have 2 successful business, very, very highly successful business, because I have been rehabilitated, because I know what being tired is. I've been there before. And when he told me that, it touched me. And I called my brother, which he's going today. That was my in-between, because I live kind of far out from my sister. And so I would call my brother. I say, "Listen, I said, I think I'm gonna help Troy." He said, "What you see?" I said, "I hear." He said, "What you hear?" I said, "I hear inside of his voice." I said, "I hear his heart." I said, "I hear that he's making a change." I said, I say, "I can't be wrong here," but I said, "I don't believe so." I said, "But I'm willing to help out." So I started making phone calls. I ended up started calling, and I gave him my word that I would have been there for him all through this situation. For his next parole, I told him I was gonna be there. And over the years, he had been asking me, I didn't want to be a part of it because I knew then I was just a bunch of baloney, because I didn't been there already. I didn't heard baloney before, because I had been on the other side before. But that last time when he asked me that, I knew something had changed in him. And I knew that he was ready to make society his place for good. Yeah, I know he had children. I'm sure you already know that, so I'm never came to y'all and explain about his children. Far as him having a job, I have a place for him at my company. I have two of them. You can look him up, he's on the state level. Place to live. I own a lot of real estate. So if he doesn't go to his mom, he definitely have a place to come at one of our place, because my wife and I, we have a trailer park. We have other real estates as we do a lot in the community. I go to prisons, talk to people, to let them know about the things that he been through, that I've been through. So, but I'm only asking y'all to give him that chance, even if y'all put him on a monitor. You know, I would be really the right to be responsible partially in a manner to be able to help him. I mean, even pay for the monitor every month, you know, just to give him that opportunity one more time. Everybody deserves a chance. And I think in my heart, I believe that he had reached that part where he ready to be able to come back to society and be able to maintain him being out and doing a good job. But I'm, like I said, I'll be willing to give him that opportunity for us to work, or as a place to stay. And I have a lot of backing by a lot of other people that didn't come that's willing to make sure that happens. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. All right. We don't have anybody here to speak in opposition, but we do have some opposition. We have 5 judges that made no comment and 1 that was opposed. We have 2 district attorneys that had no comment and 2 of them that are opposed. We have 4 sheriffs and all 4 sheriffs are opposed. And that's the law enforcement opposition. So your case is assigned to me. I got a question for you, and is what programs did you complete since July 21st, 22, when you had that last hearing before the board? What did you complete since then?
I complete general management group, 12 steps sponsor group. I completed HRC, general managementship. I completed anger management feelings. And I completed CBI management.
So what specific substance abuse programs did you complete since then? Major.
Well, the 2 that's in 18, and I completed 1 at River Bend.
Yeah, but not 18, not 18. Substance abuse is an ongoing problem. It didn't take you just a short period to get this amount of charges. I'm asking you, since that last hearing you had, what major substance abuse classes, if any, did you take? Because you obviously got a substance abuse problem. Would you agree with that?
That's the last completion I did, sir.
Okay, so you didn't do any more substance abuse classes since then in 2022?
Yes, sir. I've been getting shipped to different camps after different camps, sir.
All right. That was the only question I had. Mr. Freeman, you have any questions?
No, that was gonna be my question. Have you had any programs since 10/22? So you took a class since your last hearing?
Yes, sir. I took the
class before your last hearing.
I took my last class hearing at River Bend, sir.
And what year was that?
That was in 22. I got shipped from River Bend and I completed substance abuse.
Okay.
Your uncle said that you won out. Have you changed? Have you dropped the drug charges? I mean, the drug habits?
Yes, sir. I have learned from other people's mistakes and also as well as mine, sir. and I have been incarcerated 16 summers, and I just ready to come home to be a father and a grandfather to my grandbabies.
You realize you need to, you have a problem, a drug problem. You do realize that. You think you have a drug problem?
No, sir, I have learned from my mistakes, sir. What
You don't think you have a drug problem? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
You don't think you have a drug problem?
Well, I completed all classes, yes, sir.
Okay, I have no more questions. All right, are we ready to vote? I am.
All right. Your case is assigned to me, so I'm gonna cast the first vote. Today, I'm gonna vote to grant you parole.
Thank you, sir.
In lieu of completion of a long-term substance abuse treatment program at Steve Hall. So you're gonna be shipped to Steve Hall for a long-term program, and then when you complete that program successfully, then you can be released.
Yes, sir.
Upon release, we're gonna put you on electronic monitoring for 1 year,
Yes, sir.
a curfew of 10 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Yes, sir.
And you're also gonna go work with your cousin or your uncle?
My uncle, sir.
And your uncle's gonna be like an assistant probation officer.
Yes, sir.
Between the probation officer, and he's gonna be able to check a lot of stuff with your uncle. I think your uncle's on the right direction, and maybe you can follow in his footsteps. That's
Yes,
my
sir.
vote, it's only one, so. Mr. Freeman?
Okay, now I'm very worried about your drug history. I really am. Once an addict, you're always an addict. But I think that Steve Hall program or whatever program we put you in will help you. Now, I'm gonna say this, you had a bunch of write-ups for falling asleep in class. Don't fall asleep in class over there, because I promise you they're gonna kick you out. And if you're kicked out, then we're gonna come back and we're gonna deny, or I'm gonna deny.
Yes,
So,
sir. And I,
take advantage of this opportunity. I believe you. I think you're tired. People get
yes,
tired.
sir.
And I think you're tired. So, good luck to you.
Thank you, sir.
I concur with Mr. Barrow.
All right, go successfully complete your class, and we'll see you on the other side. Today, your
Thank you,
parole
sir.
has been granted conditionally, and this concludes our business at Jackson at 10:50 a.m.
When I get you get better.
Huh? Well, no, slow down.
Wow, that was not one I expected. But yeah, hey, good for him. Wow, I'm amazed. Let's see, Travis Hawkins. Here we go. All right.
2025, and the time now is 11:03 a.m. We are resuming operations today at our remote location at West Feliciana Parish Jail. Would the staff at West Feliciana Parish Jail please introduce yourself for the record?
Bree Delaney, Facility Coordinator.
Thank you. Mr. Hawkins, please introduce yourself and give your full name and DOC number for the record.
Travis Hawkins, 422-927.
Thank you. Today we have for parole consideration Travis Hawkins, DOC number 422-927, who's a fourth felony offender, who was convicted of possession with intent to distribute cocaine, illegal carrying of a weapon, possession with intent to distribute cocaine, possession with intent to distribute methamphetamine, and possession with intent to distribute marijuana. And on July 10th, 19, and on January 15th of 20, was sentenced to serve 20 years hard labor total in Washington and East Baton Rouge parishes. Your parole eligibility date is 1/12/25. Your good time date is January 17th of 26, and your full term date would be January 13th of 40. Does that sound correct to you, Mr. Hawkins?
Sir.
All right. So go ahead, we'll start with you. Tell us what you did to get yourself in this kind of trouble and why, and then also tell us why you think that now is the time for the parole board to release you.
Yes, sir. I allowed myself to be succumbed by things that was going on around me due to my drug addiction and trying to provide other things for myself to continue that drug addiction. And being here, not just here in the Department of Corrections, gave me an opportunity to take my life from a liability to an asset. And I look forward to putting that the things that I've learned and put it into action, sir.
Steph, I don't remember your name, but do you have any comments or anything about his behavior down there at your facility?
So Travis has been with us since 8/4/22. He has had no write-ups. He has maintained a job since he's been here. And he is currently working now at Western Rivers.
Basically, he's been good with y'all.
Yes.
All right, thank you for your input. All right, I'm looking at the list. We have nobody here to speak on behalf or in favor of this release. So I'll just let you know that you do have some opposition for law enforcement. The East Baton Rouge and Washington sheriffs are opposed to your release. The Attorney General office is opposed to the release. The District Attorney's office in East Baton Rouge is opposed, and the Washington did not comment. So that opposition is on the record. Your case has been assigned to Mr. Tillis. He's going to ask you the question and cast the first vote today.
Good morning, Mr. Hawkins. How are you?
I'm doing well, sir. How about yourself?
All right. What have you been doing to better yourself or classes for your drug addiction since you've been where you are?
I've taken AANA, Inside Outside Dad, Victim Awareness, Thinking for a Change. And I also joined the HOPE program in Concordia. And honestly, I stay maintaining a good job, just working and looking toward the future.
Which class do you like the best, and what did you learn from that class?
Inside Outside Dad, and I also like Thinking for a Change, sir. Thinking for a Change gave me an opportunity to actually look at things, not so much as right then, but just take a breath, think about things, make a wise decision.
If you're released, are you going to continue some of those classes to keep yourself drug-free?
There's two of them that I found that's available to me, and one is Thinking for a Change, and one is also NA. So, yes, sir, I do plan to continue those.
Okay. I have no more questions. Mr. Frank?
Let's see, Mr. Hawkins. Mr. Hawkins, have you taken your pre-release yet?
I went through the programs at Concordia.
The pre-release program?
Yes,
the
sir.
$100 pre-release.
No, sir. I don't recall paying $100.
Okay, because it's mandatory now, and I didn't see it on the record.
He said $100. He explained 100 hours. Okay. He thought you said $100.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yes, sir. I took in Concordia. I took all the programs should be listed on my rap sheet if I'm not mistaken.
See it, the one that's not listed. Okay.
Well, they might not have it.
Probably. Do y'all have pre-release at that work release center?
He took it in 09.
No, sir.
He took 100 hours and all that.
So that'll still count. Okay. And you've been saving any money since you've been working?
Yes, sir. I truly have. I've done very, very well. Kind of fortunate enough to get me a vehicle and pretty much just jump back into the workforce.
Okay, are you gonna stay with this job that you have now, or are you going?
No, yes, sir. I'm gonna stay with Western Rivers. I'm gonna stay with Western Rivers. I don't know if you guys got the email.
That was a very impressive letter that he wrote on your behalf.
Thank you, sir.
I'll say that. So he definitely thinks you're a hard worker and a good employee to keep around. So
yes,
I have no further questions.
And I have none unless you have more.
No.
All right, we're ready to vote. We'll begin with Mr. Tillis, who is signed the case.
Mr. Hawkins, my vote today is going to be the grant due to the progress you've made. And I hope you continue to stay sober and keep your nose clean.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Hawkins, my vote is gonna be the same. You have a good time date of 1/17/26, so you'd have got out in 8 months anyway. So, this way you get to go to your employer and make all the money yourself. They won't be cutting nothing out your check. So
Yes,
good
sir.
luck.
Thank you. Definitely gonna use it forward to a progress in their life.
Okay. All right, and I'm gonna vote to also grant, but I'm gonna add the condition that you have a substance abuse evaluation and follow any recommendations for treatment through the probation and parole office once you're out.
Yes, sir.
So, Mr. Hawkins, today your parole has been granted. This will conclude our business at West Feliciana Parish Jail at 11:11 a.m.
Thank you.
Good luck, Mr.
See?
Hawkins. Oh, you heard the lady in the background. See? She was going to tell him, see, it was going to be okay. How sweet. Okay, so the next one is going to be Ricardo Moreno. Okay. Let's fast forward just a little bit. Now, just so we know.
Date is April 23rd,
Just for FYI out there, I know we're doing this in about 30 minutes. We're going to switch streams and roll over into the Stephan Sterns stream. I'm going to take about a 15-minute break before that starts at 1 o'clock Central my time. So just an FYI, we will be doing a stream redirect at about 12:45, so I can get about a 15-minute break before that starts at 1 o'clock my time Central. It is now 12:15 my time, so about 30 minutes. So let's carry on with this. These are some interesting parole hearings. I'm invested. Okay, here we go. Ready, roll.
2025, and the time is 11:18 a.m. We're resuming at our remote location of Blackman Parish Detention Center. With the staff at Blackman Parish, please introduce yourself for the record. Is there anybody in the room with you?
He's on mute.
Nobody there?
He's muted too.
Oh, and you on mute.
And we have another muted. I just interrupted for that. Look, this homeboy don't even know how to. Oh my Lord. Here we go. Already. We're in the Verizon commercial again. Can you hear me now?
Can you unmute, please?
Good morning.
Good morning. We were asking if the staff of Blackman who's with him today could introduce themselves. That would be you?
Deputy Sanji,
All right.
Transportation Division.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Moreno, would you please state your full name and DOC number for the record?
My name is Ricardo Moreno. My DOC number is 558-322.
All right. Today we have for parole consideration, Ricardo Moreno, DOC number 558-322, who is a third felony offender who was convicted of simple burglary, habitual offender, simple burglary, and attempted simple burglary on March 20th of 2022 and was sentenced to serve 6 years hard labor in Jefferson Parish Jail. His parole eligibility date is March 30th of 2023. Good time date of 12/5/26 and a full term date of 10/1/27. Does that information sound right to you, Mr. Moreno?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, now I'm going to ask you to tell us, what did you do to get yourself into trouble over here? And what have you done for yourself since you're in jail that we would be good to release you today?
Yes, sir. I broke into a vehicle. Basically, I broke the window on the car and I opened the door, looked in it, and then I left. What I've done since I've been here, I have my GED. I've obtained my GED. I've obtained my substance abuse certificate, living in balance 1 and 2. And I have 3 carpentry trade certificates, 1 for core, I have one for site safety or orientation. And my last one's for CTEC, network cabling specialist. That's hooking up Wi-Fi and cable. And I'm currently enrolled in anger management cage and rage class, which ends on July 8th of this year.
All right, and I asked you what you did. You said you broke into a car. I see there's way more than a car, huh?
Yeah, well, one car, I just threw a cinder block at the window, and then the other car, I broke into it and looked into it. Now, my other charge was in Metairie. I broke into a truck and I took a gun out of it, which somebody stole from me. That was my other charge.
3 times, right?
Yeah, it's three charges, 1 attempt and 2 simple burglaries.
All right. All right. I see that we have somebody wants to speak on your behalf, Norris Nash, who's here to support. We go to Mr. Nash. Is that Mr. Nash?
He's muted.
Please unmute.
Okay, are you able to hear me now?
Yeah, now.
Good. I am Pastor Nash, and I have been asked to represent Mr. Marino. I have known him indirectly for the past couple of years, during which time I have mentored him spiritually, particularly when his mom died. I communicated with Chaplain Dahl, who is there, to try and get him to attend the funeral, and that failed. Although I was able to attend the funeral, he was not. I'll ask the board to consider this. He was denied parole at his first hearing. Oftentimes, when that happens, the guy may get very discouraged and his conduct turns totally negative. Not so with him. He realized what he needed to do, and he did it. He pursued one program after another. Not solely because he wanted to get out, but he realized that he had a great need for each of the programs he partook in and completed. Even to this day, he is still enrolled currently in another program. So I would ask the board to consider the fact that he has done everything. He has lived a model life with no disciplinary reports. To consider all of these things as a sign or as a cause to believe that he is ready. He has prepared himself, not just educationally, but skillfully as well. He is ready to be returned to his family and society and become a useful and productive member in both. So give him this chance. That is my request for Mr. Marino. His father's health is depreciating rapidly. He has lost his mom. Let him go home. Give him this chance. And for that, I say thank you.
Thank you. All right. We have anybody with the jail staff that has any information to add to this? Anybody still with you in the room?
Don't worry
No,
about it.
it's
Don't worry about it.
okay. If they're not still there, don't worry about it. No. Okay. We do have some opposition to speak. We have Mr. Randall Myers. Mr. Myers, would you let us know what you got to say? Tell us.
Yes, sir. Randall Meyer, Assistant DA, Jefferson Parish. I don't have a strong opposition to Mr. Moreno. Looking at the record, the annual assessment indicates that he needs anger management, substance abuse treatment, although, and this was after he had completed the Living in Balance 1 and 2, indicating to me that he needs a little bit more work on the substance abuse treatment. It says he needs sex offender treatment, but I don't see any. He has no convictions on sex offenses, but there was a sexual battery of the infirm that was refused. I'm not sure if that's the reason for that recommendation or not. I think it can't hurt him to have a long-term substance abuse treatment program done and have him follow that. It appears from his record that that's an issue that he has. So, my biggest concern with Mr. Moreno is that he gets the programming that he needs to help him stay out of jail. Thanks.
Thank you. All right. We also have opposition from law enforcement, sheriff opposed, chief opposed, and attorney general opposed, and the judge with no comment. So cases assigned to me, we're trying to decide if questions are all answered. I think they are, as far as I can see.
I just have one. Where are you planning on living if you get out?
I'm gonna live in Harvey with my sister. It's on Chriswood Drive. I don't know the number of her house because she just bought it, but it's in Harvey with a 7.
I want to make sure you had a residence plan. Okay.
Sir?
I just wanted to make sure you had a residence plan.
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Mr. Tillis, any questions? No questions. All right, that means we're ready to vote. Cases assigned to me, so I cast the first vote. I'm gonna vote to grant your parole conditionally on the condition that you complete the Steve Hall substance abuse program before you release. Before you leave jail, you're gonna transfer you to Steve Hall, you're gonna complete that program and make sure all the monkeys off your back before we put you back on the street. We're gonna add a condition that you pay the victim restitution that was ordered by the sentencing court that you didn't pay when you was on probation. Probation officer gonna line that up, and that you complete anger management. And good luck to you. Mr. Freeman?
I concur.
I concur.
All right, this means your parole has been granted conditionally. You need to get over to the long-term substance abuse and get that done, and then you'll be released back to on supervision.
Thank you.
Good luck to you. Hopefully you'll follow these conditions and not get yourself back in trouble. This concludes our business today at the Plaquemine Parish Jail at 11:29 a.m.
Well, all righty. He got a release coming as long as he follows what he's supposed to be doing. All right. So the next one is Dana Cotlone. Okay. Okay, just a second here.
The Committee on Parole is called to order. Today's date is April 23rd, 2025. The time is 11.
Okay, out of curiosity, are we going to hear can you hear me now?
30 a.m. We're resuming our hearings at a remote location at Riverbend Detention Center. Would the staff at Riverbend introduce yourself for the record?
My name is Lieutenant Jonikin.
Thank you. Thank you, Lieutenant. Thank you for hosting us. Mr. Cotlone, would you please introduce yourself for the record? We're giving me your full name and DOC number for the record.
DOC number 368375.
Okay. I'm going to give you a brief explanation of the process. I'll need you to verify some information that I'll read to you, and it will give you a chance to speak. Let us know what you did to get yourself in trouble. We'll ask the warden for them to give us an update on you from the jail. We'll have public comments from supporters and against. We'll give a district attorney a chance to speak if one wants to, and then we'll conduct our interview. So today we have for parole consideration Dana Cotlin, DOC number 368375, who's a first felony offender who was convicted of manslaughter, 2 counts, amended from first-degree murder, 2 counts. And on May 24th, 1996, was sentenced to serve 25 years hard labor, each count consecutive in Calcasieu Parish. Your parole eligibility is at the discretion of the board. The good time date is not eligible, and your full term date is October 15th of 2045. Does that sound correct to you?
Yes, sir.
All right. It's your chance now to tell us what you did to get yourself in trouble and what you are doing to get yourself out, and why should we release you?
Well, sir, I was taking psych meds at the time. I really can't. Excuse me.
Is there anybody in the room with you?
Yes, sir.
Well, let me ask the warden if they, or
If they have any
staff.
comments, because we can't
Let me
understand.
get their comments first, so we can get them to leave the room, and you can maybe take the mask off, because we can't understand you at all. Warden, do you have, or staff member, do you have any comments regarding this case on Mr. Cotlon?
I'm sorry, Doc.
None? Okay. We need him to take that mask off so we can try to understand him. If, I don't know if you need to leave the room for that, or if you can leave the room, or just want to back off, but we can't understand him.
You can take the mask off.
Okay. All right, you need to try to speak clearly to us, because you were really hard to understand. And
Yes,
back to the original question, what you did and what you've done to make yourself a better person to be released.
Well, I was, from what I understand, I was arrested on August the 28th of 2022. And I really can't elaborate on the night what happened because I don't remember. And I was charged with, I understand, with 4 charges. And I pled guilty to aggravated assault with all charges dismissed. At the time, I had no lawyer. And I was told if I got out to the aggravated assault, which was a misdemeanor, all the other charges would be dismissed. And that's what I did, sir.
You pled guilty to the misdemeanor thinking that it wouldn't be a reason to revoke your parole.
Well, yes, sir.
What, tell me a little bit about that charge. Did you have a gun at that time?
No, sir.
Okay, we'll save that question for later. Is that everything? What did you do since then that you've been incarcerated to justify a release early, like parole?
Well, I'm in a detention center. I've been at River Bend, and I was sent to Bossier for 10 days to complete the Steve Harvey program. But they sent me back to River Bend, wouldn't let me attend. I guess because I take psych meds. And I've been here ever since. Last time I appeared in front of the parole board, it was stated that I would be, they will find a place for me to go to take my psych meds and get substance abuse treatment, but they never did. That was on April the 6th of 2023 when I appeared in front of Ms. Renat.
Thank you. I see that we have your mother here who wants to speak on your behalf. Can we get up Miss Loretta Cotlon? Loretta? You have to unmute your device.
Yes, sir.
Would you go ahead and tell us what you have to tell us about Dana?
Yes, upon Dana's release back in April of 2020, he did very well until his PTSD and depression kicked in. He started into going to the VA for mental health, but he was not receiving the therapy. He did have some of the medications, but he had not completely started actively into the therapeutic part of his program. But he was doing fine. He had moved into his own facility, his own home, and he was doing work at the church. He was a member. He's and still is a standing member of the church in the community. He was doing work out in the community, helping the elderly, underprivileged, and disadvantaged. And he does have a history of cancer ×2, and he was receiving treatment for that. So, and I've had communication with the victims of the first incident, and we have a very positive rapport that I know of. And I just hope and pray that the board sees that while he's there where he is now at Riverbend, he is making some progress, but his mental health issues do need to be addressed, and it's not being done. And I think the PTSD and the depression and other medical issues had a lot to do with his mannerism and demeanor when the altercation transpired.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you. All
Thank you.
right. We have nobody here in person to speak in opposition, but we do have some opposition from one of the victims has 2 family members that are opposed, and the other victim's family member is unopposed. So there is victim opposition in this case. We also have strong law enforcement opposition. The DA says that he needs to do more than 60% for a violent murder of 2 people. The sheriff is opposed, the chief of police is opposed, and the attorney general is opposed. So we do have a bunch of law enforcement opposition. The case has been assigned to Mr. Tillis. So Mr. Tillis is going to begin your interview.
Good morning, Mr. Dana. How are you?
Fine.
Do you remember, how long have you been incarcerated?
The first time or this time?
The first time was how much?
25 years.
25 years. Do you remember did you take any classes or do anything to help better yourself then?
Yes, sir, I did.
You did? What did you do?
Nurturing, parenting, reentry, character count. I have a lot of certificates that I was involved in, anger management.
Okay, I have them here. I saw those. So what happened on this last charge that you have?
I really don't remember, sir.
Don't remember? Okay, I got it. All right. I have no more questions.
Okay, you know, I see Mr. Cantalone at your last hearing, and I was on the board for that hearing when we revoked you. You know, we had asked for you to be sent somewhere to get a mental health evaluation and to get you on a treatment regimen, which obviously has not been done if you're at Riverbend. So, do they have you on any psych meds right now?
Oh, sir.
Okay, do you see a doctor over there?
Excuse me?
Do you see a doctor over there, a mental health
No,
professional?
sir. I have not received any psych meds or seen a psych doctor.
That's why you should have been sent where we asked you to go the first time. Okay, I have no further questions.
And I have no questions. Are we ready to vote?
I'm ready. My vote today is going to be to deny, pending that you get some mental health treatment. I think maybe you need some, and today my vote's going to be to deny.
Mr. Freeman?
My votes could be the same, but this time I guess I can't order you to hunt for a psych evaluation, but I strongly suggest that we get you to where we can get you on the correct medication and a good program. So, but today my vote is to deny.
And today my vote is to deny, because you've already been paroled once for this violent crime. And while you were on parole, you committed another violent crime. And there's strong law enforcement opposition, strong victim opposition from one of the victims. And you killed 2 people over a cell phone bill. My vote is to deny, but I also strongly recommend that they bring you to Hunt where they can help you with your mental health before your next hearing.
I said it last time, sir.
So we'll try again. This concludes our business at Riverbend today. Good luck to you.
So I knew there was gonna be none.
All right, guys. Okay. So let me tell you what we're going to do. No change, right? You know, red rumming 2 people over a cell phone was just tremendously, you know, I mean, and he served 25 years, got out on parole, and then now he's back, and I don't get it. I don't get it why people think that. Anyways, okay, so what we're going to do here is I'm going to end this stream. It's going to redirect you to the Stephan Sterns live hearing, and I will be back promptly to get that started. Give me about 10-minute break to get me some fresh coffee, take my comfort break, and I will be right back. I'm excited to get this started. So here we go. Caught you a stream, but rubber out. We'll see you on the flip. See you in the next stream, guys. Give me just a minute. And I'm a real-time crime professional.